What is up, homies? Welcome back to another episode of the CzechXicans podcast here on Heroes Reforged.
It's the Bexicans podcast.
The Bexicans. A lot of people.
We're the best.
That's right. A lot of people had fun with our episode last week. I posted a clip from our podcast on Instagram, and it did pretty well talking about content verticals. You may have heard of them.
And if
Content vertical Fortune 500.
go back and watch
so
that
funny.
one. It's really funny.
Yeah, definitely go check that out. Also, speaking of housekeeping, we did put out part 1 of our X-Men the Animated Series reaction. Check that out. Really, really well. A great job by our editor, Eric, who cut all that down for us.
Thanks, Eric.
We've got part 2 and part 3 coming up as well.
And we put those out on YouTube.
Yeah.
For the podcast listeners.
Yeah.
Mosey on over to YouTube.
Yeah.
To our channel, and then check those out there. What else we got on?
And then on Patreon, we have all the uncut episodes,
very
which
nice.
that is a hoot and a holler in time.
All of season 1.
Yeah, all
And
13 eps.
It's so weird because that was timed kind of perfectly based on something that happened.
Oh, I wonder why.
Film over the weekend.
Isn't that weird how that
I'll
works?
say.
That's weird. It's so weird.
It's weird. Somebody had the foresight
Yeah,
to
it's crazy.
time that.
They definitely had
so
the
interesting.
foreskin to try to figure out.
Why was I thinking the same thing?
Because we're gross.
We're gross.
We're gross.
Gross
Oh,
guys.
God. We also did a playthrough of the first chapter of the Walking Dead Telltale video game. That was a ton of fun.
Where's
Check that
that?
out as well. That's on YouTube also.
Really?
Do you know what happens on this channel,
By the time
Hector?
this comes out?
Yeah, this comes out on Monday.
I was like, okay. That's awesome.
Hector does not know what
I do.
happens on the channel.
I do.
Hey,
That's
man, we
great.
make content. Do you know that?
Vertically.
Did you know you're on
Vertically.
the internet?
Yeah.
Did you know?
I did. That was a fun time.
That was super fun.
I was thinking about because I saw Keller over the weekend and he was like, "How's that TV working out?" And I was
Yeah.
like, "Actually,
really well. Thank you, Keller.
We used it to do." And I started
Yeah.
thinking, I'm like, "Man, it'd be really fun for the three of us in here in this room."
Yeah.
You know, for those special occasions or
Yeah.
whatever.
Yeah.
To like, let's do another video game playthrough. That could be cool.
That was super
Yeah.
fun. I actually wouldn't even mind playing that game again.
for sure.
That
It
would
was
be
really
really
fun. Yeah.
I think because we could all decide on what we were going to do.
Right.
Whoever had the controller was inconsequential.
Right. Yeah.
Because we all decided.
I also did like the notion of like the old school. You're in a room with your friends. Hey,
Yeah.
if you die,
Yeah.
pass
Pass
the
it
controller,
over.
Pass
Yeah.
the controller.
No, that was super fun.
I love that rule. I died the most.
I think you did. I think you
2
did.
seconds of playtime.
I think you really did.
It was fun. I had a really fun
yeah.
time. And then we were able to like flip the set pretty much right after that to watch the finale of Moon Knight.
Yeah.
Which is
Yeah.
really cool. Which we've already completed that as well.
Yeah.
Check all those videos out. We also have the uncuts of that on Patreon.
Wow.
And then very soon we're going to be doing Obi-Wan Kenobi and Miss Marvel. And we also put out a review of Doctor Strange.
Yup.
Which that's been an interesting movie because it's been interesting to see. And I think we talked about in the review a little bit. We were like, it's probably going to be like split audience. Some people are going to love it. Some people are not going to like it. Some people will like parts of it and not like parts of it. And that kind of seems to generally, I would say generally people enjoyed it, at least from what I see on my timeline. And it's only like pockets of people who are like, I didn't like the directing style. I didn't like the visual style. I didn't like what they did with Wanda.
Sure.
I didn't like some of the cameos or it's the opposite where they liked all those things. So
Yeah.
it's kind of a
I liked
grab
all
bag
that
of
stuff.
emotions.
I liked
Yeah.
it all.
Yeah.
Yeah, knees weak, arms are
I think
heavy.
we
Mom's
should-
spaghetti was
I think
pretty
we should
great.
also thank everybody who has followed my demands to subscribe. And kept me alive. No, we've gotten a huge bump in subscribers
Yeah.
recently,
Wait.
and it's been
Augustine,
great.
there may be some gray buttons out there.
Right
which is
now,
fine,
right
which
now.
is fine.
Oh, there can't be.
Gray is
There can't
okay.
be.
Gray is okay.
There
Oh,
can't
no,
be.
that one.
Red.
Red.
No.
You're dead.
Red.
There it is.
Red, and I'm dead.
So tell them.
If your sub box is red, I'm dead. Get it? I'm dead. If it's gray, you're okay. You're okay. And thank you so much for subscribing.
Analytically, we're 60-40. We're 60% people subscribe,
Yeah, yeah,
40% people not subscribed. I shouldn't say unsubscribed because you haven't unsubscribed. You're just not subscribed.
Yeah.
So subscribe. We're almost at 100,000 subscribers.
So close.
Everyone who comes into our comments is always like, I already thought you had way over that. I'm like, well, then
thought you
help
had a
us
million.
get there.
Exactly.
Let's get to 100,000.
Analytically, we're doing pretty good.
Our
ratings are off the charts.
Our
Emotionally-
subscribers, our patrons are feasting
Yes.
recently. We put out
Yes.
so much good content.
Yeah, I think in the last 2 weeks now, it'll be 2 weeks, we put out, I think, like almost 10 or 12 videos.
Yeah, definitely. We
Yeah.
put out a lot of tent.
We got another one right now. In fact, you're listening to
tent.
it right now. This is a brand
This
new
one,
episode of Tent.
CzechXicans podcast. Before we
What
get into
episode?
it, we got to stack the thing.
Yeah.
But Hector, you stirred up a memory in my little my little 2 brain cells that I have here. They rub together real hard.
Foreskin?
Yeah. Yes.
That's what got you there? Yep.
What did you do before this?
What?
Hector's Randy
I went
today.
and got circumcised. That's
Oh,
right.
okay,
It's on my-
cool,
it's
cool,
on my
cool, cool.
mind.
And he misses it.
Finally. I miss it. I miss my
Jeez,
little guy.
already.
He has it hanging on the wall.
You said that you had fun hanging out here and playing video games with your homies.
Yeah.
That just brought back a flood of memories in my brain.
Oh, yeah.
And it just made me think of like all these times I was hanging out with my friends as a kid, like playing video games. Is video games with your friends something that you think back very fondly on? Was it a big part of your childhood? And also you, Adam, because I know you don't game as much now. But did you game as a kid?
Oh my God.
What were your guys'
Uncontrollably.
experiences
think-
like? What was your favorite thing about playing video games as a kid? Or
Yeah.
like your favorite memories of playing video games as a kid?
I think, because I also feel like that's probably part of the reason that as I got older, because we're all of the age of, we were all born in the 80s.
Yeah,
so
late
we
80s.
grew up in the 80s, 90s.
84, baby.
You know, we grew up in that era where video games were like toys, but really coming into their own and being like, you know, man, Nintendo 64 with 4 controller ports.
Oh my God, that was
What a big deal.
nuts.
Memory slots on the controller?
People right now watching are like, so what? I can play with 100 people when I play Fortnite or
Right.
whatever.
Yeah.
And it's
Right.
like, yeah, but here's the thing. There's a difference between when you're at home by yourself, even if you're on a headset
Yeah.
with your friends, versus when they're in the room and playing Mario
Right,
Party
right.
Yeah.
or playing. So I think as I got older, that feeling is what I gravitated towards. And that's how I liked like Rock Band, for example.
Oh, yeah.
Because that's-
Oh, yeah.
That's a thing that even as I sort of let games get away from me maybe a little bit, I would be like, oh, Rock Band? Yeah, dude, come over and we'll bust out some
It's
Rock
easily
Band.
accessible.
Easily
very social.
accessible. And even at like a hangout, it's like, oh, actually, let's end the night doing this.
Right.
Whereas, like, at no matter what age you get as you get older, it's a little difficult to be like, end of the night, I'm gonna bust out a Nintendo 64 because, like, that's cool and I would be down, but it's like it's not always the vibe.
For sure.
But something like Rock Band is
Karaoke. People love
yeah.
singing.
It's usually the vibe, and that's the other reason I think I didn't latch on to. As soon as like Xbox or Xbox 360 started to really zero in on like online play, headsets like this, like play anonymously with people and listen to their racial slurs as you try to, kill people in Call of Duty or whatever. I was like, I don't like that as much.
Yeah.
And for me, it's either I love video games that are solo experiences, but I still like to share those solo experiences with friends and with
Past the
people.
controller
you playing
situation.
this? Past the controller situation. I love that, dude. I'm the type of person that if somebody hit me up and they're like, Hector, come over, we're going to try to beat Legend of Zelda on Super Nintendo in one sitting.
Yeah.
With
We're
like
going to trade lives, though.
with like 10 people, we're all just going to like do it. I would be like, I'd rather do that. And then, I just downloaded the Zelda game on my phone and I can play it whenever I want. It's like, cool. That's certainly more convenient, but I miss the experience. I miss
the socialness.
Of the socialness,
Yeah.
getting to share.
What was
So-
your youngest experience with that? Because I know you grew up Jehovah's Witness, where video games also off the table.
No, they weren't.
Okay.
My weird experience, and there's people listening right now being like, he was what? Jehovah's Witness?
Go back to the
Kind of.
last
Oh,
5
episode 1.
episodes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we talk about this every episode.
Yeah.
Pretty much. I know, right? So it's a
The whole Christmas episode we talked about it too.
story again. So like my parents weren't. I think the thing that they mainly pulled from that, and it was really my mom and my dad was like, okay, was the idea that they didn't celebrate holidays.
Yeah.
But I was still able to play with toys and play with. I remember my buddy who was in the church. We're both 5 years old.
Yeah.
He had a Power Rangers action figure.
Yeah.
His parents took the Power Rangers action figure toy gun out of the holster.
Oh, and set it
Took it
aside.
away.
Took it away.
Oh, wow.
Threw it away.
Yeah,
yeah.
So we had a Jason with no blaster, but still had the holster attached to the belt.
Right.
And I
Interesting.
remember as a kid, I was like,
that's the sword holder.
yeah. Or as a kid, I was like, well, that's weird.
Yeah.
Like I thought
Yeah.
it was weird. And I didn't like that.
Okay.
Yeah.
But it's not like I'm like a gun guy.
Right,
Like
right.
it's not like
Right,
I
it's
was
just
like,
the complete part of the figure.
Right. So my parents weren't to that degree.
Yeah.
They let me play video games, and I don't think they had any like I mean, geez, when we were growing up, what were the big controversies? It was like Mortal Kombat. Then after that, it was like Grand Theft Auto. But I'm talking in just video games. It was
just video games.
Just video games.
Well, I don't know.
I mean, even the Simpsons game too. Like, just the Simpsons in general when they first came out.
Things like Beavis and Butthead on
Sega
or whatever, or oh, that game's too crude. You know, like whatever the Grand Theft Auto,
Doom,
whatever the
Duke Nukem, all those games.
Which I'm like, I don't think my parents were really ever like tapped into that. So I didn't really know, but I wasn't like. I don't know. I guess I wasn't the type of kid that'd be like, yeah, fuck. So that my mom and dad would be like, excuse me, where did you hear that?
Kill that bitch.
If I heard something, I'd be like, okay, I'm gonna be quiet. But anyway, those are my lovely video game experiences. Even when I sucked at GoldenEye on N64,
that was
so
good
fun
times.
to play with my friends, and I was always the worst. But at least I was good at Mario Kart 64.
Okay,
still really good. What about you, Adam?
For me, it was PlayStation 1 was the big one, and I do remember when PlayStation got like that expansion that you could hook up from the back and you could add 2 extra controllers. You remember that?
Crazy.
It was like an L-shaped thing.
Yeah.
So I would have friends over sometimes, and we would play.
Yeah, what games on PS1 had
Twisted Metal?
4 players?
Yeah, I think Twisted Metal.
Yeah, that's cool.
The first 2 primarily.
Yeah.
Then I would play Star Wars Masters of Terrakazi, which that was just a 2-player game.
Yeah.
Crash Bandicoot was a 1-player game, so that was one of those situations you pass the controller around.
Yeah.
But those I mostly played. I want to say I mostly played those alone.
Yeah.
Or with my aunt.
Yeah. Oh,
because my aunt's a little bit younger, so we would play games together. And then with friends was actually Nintendo 64. Cruisin' USA.
Oh, that's a good one.
A huge one. Woo. GoldenEye was also a huge one.
Yep.
I also equally sucked at that game so bad.
Yeah.
I would be the first one to go. And then Mario Kart. I feel like the Mario Kart game was like huge in the late 90s, early 2000s when the N64 came out. Rogue Squadron we also did play.
Okay.
Yeah, that was pretty fun.
Those are good ones. Those are iconic ones, for sure.
I played a ton of video games when I was a kid.
Yeah.
I always, one of the games I always bring up, it's a Bruce Willis video game.
Oh, The Fifth Element.
No, it's not The Fifth Element. It's called like Armageddon or something.
Yes,
and he would go,
you're
suck
right.
on this, and he would like shoot a bazooka.
You mean Armageddon, like the movie?
No. It wasn't based on a movie.
Yeah.
But
it's his
Bruce
own
Willis
game.
was in it. Hang on, look this shit up. It's not Armageddon.
It's got to be something.
It's something like that. Bruce Willis video game. It's called Apocalypse.
Oh my God.
And it's Bruce Willis.
Did he have like a chainsaw arm or something?
Something. You get different weapons at certain points.
And you go to hell. I think there's like you're trying to get out of hell.
It's like a fire pit or something. It's crazy.
Please don't be offended by this. That looks terrible.
Well,
it's 1997, of course.
That's why. It's not going to look like Bruce
Siphon
Willis.
Filter was also a really big one I loved to play. That one, I like that one more than GoldenEye because... one, I was a lot better than PlayStation controls. I was really bad at the Nintendo controllers.
Those are weird.
Awkward.
They were you like hold the middle and you're like
like this, and
I was always much better at PlayStation. But yeah, this game was so fun and so dumb.
Yeah.
Suck on this.
I remember that
Eat
game.
some.
Yeah.
I'm like, this is
we
great.
We played this game a lot.
Yeah.
We played,
so stupid. And then I used to play Batman and Robin, the video game, all the time.
Okay.
Absolutely. That was based on the movie, and you had to like go and do different missions where there was like a clock, and it was always annoying because you would complete a mission really early, and then you would just have to lollygag until the time would change. And I'm like, I guess let's drive around the Batmobile. But then Mr. Freeze's like thugs would come after you and shoot you. So, but I think if it wasn't playing Mario Kart, Cruisin', Rogue Squadron, or GoldenEye with my friends, I mostly gamed by myself or with family.
But let me say this too.
Yeah. And I never got into really like PC computer games.
Yeah.
Right, but didn't at least feel with those singular game experiences that like maybe your other friends were also kind of playing them at the same time.
Oh yeah, for sure.
So you could are you playing Siphon Filter?
Yeah.
Oh man.
You would like bring your memory card to someone else's house to load your
had
game.
The same games because we wouldn't have crazy video game releases like we have today. It was like everybody waited for those big game releases.
And Twisted Metal, I remember you could like there were things that you could do, little cheats, or where you could like blow up certain buildings, and they would create bridges to go to different places. And I remember just bringing my game to somebody's house, and they'd be like, "Oh, I didn't know you could do this. I can do this on my game." And I'm like,
you see,
watch and learn.
This exact thing is the reason why I'm not opposed to strategy guides or even looking stuff up online.
Yeah.
Whereas my girlfriend Abby doesn't. It.
She's in
really?
it for the experience.
She's like, it's cheating. And I go, here's the thing.
Episode 1, the Phantom Menace video game on PC, I had to look that shit up.
It's not, in my mind, my philosophy is it's not cheating because it's the same as being a kid being on the playground
Yeah.
and somebody telling you, did you know you could blow this thing up in Twisted Metal? And you go, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
That's part of the that's how original Nintendo games were designed.
Right.
Zelda did not have the instructions.
Right.
And they designed the game, even though it was a one-player game, to be shared with friends and to be like, hey, did you discover this secret?
Yeah.
Did you know you could do this? You could bomb this wall. You could access this great fairy fountain, whatever. So when I tell Abby that, I go, see, to me, the internet just opens it up to the world.
Yeah.
It's you just looking it up and somebody being like, hey, I discovered this thing, so I'm going to put it on the internet.
Did you know that in the 80s and early 90s, they had a tip line you could call for Nintendo?
What?
I didn't know
So
that.
you could call Nintendo, and they would
Yep.
be on the phone with you for hours if you could not get past the part.
What?
They would charge you a lot of money.
They would charge you.
Parents would be pissed.
Parents would be angry.
God.
Who the hell? Who did you call?
For 8 hours.
Yeah.
What's going on?
Holy God.
So they would sit there with a book and a game in front of them if they could play with you.
Yeah.
But they would sit there with a book and read all the instructions to get past
No
the specific
way.
point. Yeah, there's a documentary on Netflix.
That's
One guy who
amazing.
worked there was telling his experience with doing
That's
that.
crazy.
So
I didn't know that.
existed from the beginning of like big Nintendo video
That's what I'm
games.
saying.
Damn.
Right?
That's
So
what I'm
it's
saying.
not
That's
a
cool.
cheat.
It's to me, it's even with if a kid called that hotline, it's not a cheat because what if there were kids who were living, in Alaska isolated,
Right.
and they were homeschooled? It's like that's not fair. That some
That's
other
not
kid
fair.
who
No.
gets to go to a public school in the United States or somewhere
Gets
in
to
the world,
hear about it on the playground.
That's not fair.
Yeah.
So I'm like, to me,
And this
it's
is
just
before everybody had internet there,
yeah,
right? At their house.
exactly. It's
Exactly.
the internet's just an equalizer.
Yeah.
That's all it is. So.
Yeah.
Anyway, I was helping Abby with Pokemon Snap by looking it up online, and I was like, Abby, do this, try this. And she's like, okay. And then she was doing it. And I'm like, this is just like...
See, if it's just not her
Yeah.
reading it, then that's fine.
Yeah.
Hector, you're just the
On her behalf.
all-knowing video game guy, basically.
I just have to pretend like, this is
Yeah,
what you
totally.
do. I
I
did it.
played this one before.
I
Go to
did
the
it.
left. Yeah, totally.
You know, now that you bring it up, it really makes me think about how much, and I know like everyone's opinion about this will differ and everybody loves what they love, but I loved gaming back then way more because I felt like, you got the disc, you put the disc in, you play the game. When you're done, you're done.
Yeah.
And now it's like, oh, I didn't pick this game up in the last year. Oh man, there's been 14 different updates and there's been 15 different expansions, and I'm like, I don't even know how to get into this game anymore.
Yeah,
It is
the scope of gaming is very different, but
scope and scale. Yeah.
I love thinking back on the old video games because my parents never let me have my own video games. The only video
So you were sharing with... were you sharing?
I lie.
So all my other friends had video games. The only video games they would buy me. Do you guys remember the Tiger LCD screen video games that you could hold in your hand?
Oh,
It took
yes,
two
sir.
batteries.
Yeah.
And it was always like Street Fighter, Double Dragon.
Yeah, but it was like a Game & Watch.
Yeah,
like,
and it was you could see where the characters could move, and they would make weird noises, right? Or like the ninja game where you throw ninja stars. And
I had a
you
Power
use the
Rangers
hands.
one that was kind of like
The
that.
Power Rangers one. So
yeah, those games sucked.
They were bad, but for me, since they didn't let me have video games,
You didn't know any better.
This $5 game was like everything to me. So
Yeah.
I tried to collect as many as I could.
Do you still have any of them?
No, dude.
Oh,
I
man.
sucked at keeping all my stuff. I trashed all my Ninja Turtles. Like I trashed
fine.
all my stuff.
Well, if it makes you feel any better, my mom did that on my behalf. She trashed all my stuff.
Hey.
sucks.
And I'm like, Mom, my PlayStation 1. She's like, it looked broken. I'm like, you don't know if you don't plug it in.
Right. How can you tell by looking
Yeah.
at
If
it
it
that it looks
Makes
broken?
you boys feel any better? I
Lost your whole comic book
don't want to
collection?
give away the whole thing. No, I don't
Uh-oh.
want to give away the whole thing.
Drama.
But I am in the process of building up a pretty rad retro gaming collection.
Oh, I
Now,
know. You've been asking us about
know.
this gaming console forever.
It's too early.
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
too early. It hasn't really begun yet, but it's
Yeah.
in process.
Okay.
And I'm telling you, by the end of this year, I'm gonna try to make it so that you guys can come over and play
Anything.
Apocalypse starring Bruce Willis.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
that. Like I'm gonna try to get some of this
Yeah.
stuff.
Here's what you need.
Yeah.
Marvel vs. Capcom 2 for the Sega Dreamcast.
Sega Dreamcast.
That's the one you need.
Ooh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And if you don't have Twisted Metal 2, don't even call.
Right.
Jesus.
PS2 Twisted Metal 2? What are you doing?
Yeah.
This is
Calypso,
this is not a complete
Calypso,
system.
what have you done?
All right.
So that's how since
what
my
I
parents
can.
didn't let me have video games, I had those for a very long time. But then my friend across the street, his parents would buy him all the video games,
Oh,
like
man.
everything. And so I would go, I would wake up in the morning just eager. I just was like, I need to get to his house.
Yeah.
I need to get there. We're going to play video games. So our summers consisted of us going across the street to my friend's house.
Awesome.
Because we all lived on the same street. It was a group of 5 5 or 6 boys, all the same age, and we all just our summers were insane. Our summers were like the classic. That's why I love the movie. Summer. I love the movie The Sandlot so much because that was my summer.
That's your American summer.
Yeah, like even though we were all Mexican, even though we were all Mexican, it was my American summer.
1955.
The year 1963.
Yeah,
the year of prosperity. My dad just got a '63 Charger, brand new off the lot. No, and so we would go over. And we would play Crash Bandicoot.
Yeah.
We would play GoldenEye for sure. That was a big one. Sega Dreamcast came out. We were playing Marvel vs. Capcom 2.
Crazy Taxi.
Crazy Taxi was so good. But even before that too, I remember the only time my parents would let me have video games was if one of my cousins let me borrow their Nintendo on a Saturday night. So my tax was I had to go to church.
The next day.
They would drive.
Yep.
No. So
Saturday.
So my parents went to the Latino church at the white church.
Gotcha.
And so they didn't let us have a Sunday mass. So we had it on Saturday night. So we had mass Saturday night, and if I was good in mass, they'd be like, "Okay, we're going over to your cousin's house. He's gonna let you borrow the Nintendo for a night."
Oh my
One
gosh,
night.
That's cruel.
That was the greatest Saturday night of my life.
What kind of progress could you even make in a game?
It wasn't about the progress. It was
just
about
the act of
having
playing.
games.
Yeah.
So I was playing Ninja Gaiden. I was playing Punch Out. Punch Out was a big one. The Mario Brothers. Like I would stay up as late as I could, which as a kid,
9:45.
Like 9:45, 10-ish.
And then you're
man, your parents were way more strict.
Bro, no,
I played Crash Bandicoot at 3 a.m, and my mom would be like, "What are you doing?" And I'm like, "I'm playing a game."
Video games were the bane of their existence, apparently, because I could not have anything. And so I grew up very restricted from that. And nowadays, like, I can game and stuff. And lately I've been playing Elden Ring.
You have been,
Before this, like, I was on a dry spell with video games for a very long time.
Yeah, because I remember you were even streaming at one point here and there, playing some stuff.
I was playing Guitar Hero.
Because
I love those games. I love the reaction Guitar Hero Rock Band style games. But that I wouldn't consider that like hardcore gaming. That's more like reaction type stuff.
Passionate gaming.
Yeah, it's just I guess.
Or it's I don't know what the phrase would be, but like you're so good at Guitar Hero,
right?
And there are some people that are like you, that good at Guitar Hero, but you're also not playing every single game. It's really like
specialized, niched,
specialized.
Like
gamer.
You couldn't come to my Twitch channel and say, "Oh, he's going to be streaming the new game." Blah blah. Like no.
Guitar Hero.
I'm playing Guitar Hero or I'm playing Elden Ring. And that's kind of it.
That's cool.
I feel like I was pretty fortunate in the fact that I was like my mom's only kid, and I was the only grandkid, so I was kind of spoiled from every angle. Grandparents were like PlayStation. My mom was like a game to go with it and a skateboard and all that stuff. So I
nice.
It was nice. And then my cousin and my brother were born.
Dang,
I still love them.
Cool.
No,
even though they jacked all your stuff.
Did I mention I didn't have a birthday party till I was 12? I'm kidding.
Sorry, man.
I have mentioned that
Bro,
many times. It's fine.
Christmas was one present for each one of us. That's just because we were broke, though. We were accidentally Jehovah's Witness. Accidentally.
You were unknowingly
we were Catholic,
practicing Jehovah's
but
Witnesses.
we were unknowingly Jehovah's Witness.
But practicing Jehovah's Witnesses.
Yeah, because I know, like, birthdays and stuff for me.
Yeah.
I'm not a good gift giver. I'm a horrible gift giver.
Dude.
But that's because my family, we never grew up giving each other gifts.
Yeah.
And now I realize it's because we were broke. But my parents never let me know or feel that was it.
That's good.
They just made the day special without gifts. And so I'm just like, okay, well, that's a cool day. That's nice.
My family had kind of the opposite. Because in Europe, there was such a big family, everyone gave gifts to everybody.
Yeah.
So when they came here, even though they came here with nothing, they still made every Christmas like a ton of gifts. And I'm not realizing it now that I'm older, that when I go home for Christmas and I see how many gifts are under the tree. And at the end of Christmas, the next day, my mom and I are always like, why are we giving each other so many gifts?
Right.
Why not just one or two things per person?
Yeah.
That's how
Why
our Christmases are.
Why 6?
Yeah.
Why?
Right.
Why do you need a shirt and a shoe and a camera lens and a this and a this and a this? I'm like, just get one thing.
Yeah. That's how our family just resorted to doing Secret Santa.
Yeah.
Everybody gets one gift, and that's Christmas
And
morning.
everybody has to worry about getting one other person.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And that's it. That's all you got to worry about.
I think the easiest time I had was one Christmas. I just bought everyone a pass to Disneyland, and I was like,
oh my God.
I'm done.
That's extremely expensive, though.
baller.
It was $800 for the whole family.
Jesus
Wow.
Christ.
Oh, for like a one day.
Yeah.
Bro,
Oh wow.
our limit is $50 when
Yeah.
we do Secret Santa.
There you go. But was this back when like one day Disney tickets were like $60?
This is in 2018, 17.
Okay.
Oh, okay. No, that was still kind of pricey.
Yeah,
Maybe
like
16,
$112
Yeah.
each or
Yeah.
something. $115.
Yeah.
They definitely broke the $100 mark.
Christ.
Adam's
All right.
fucking balling. Heroes Reforged paying them bills,
I guess
baby.
I guess it was 6 years ago when we didn't have this.
Heroes Reforged
Retroactive
retroactively paying
pay.
those
Yeah.
bills.
All right.
And you're like, anyway, I'm in massive debt.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Please
I'm still
subscribe.
That's why I'm
paying it
drinking
off.
your beer.
Yeah, I'm
not
still
my
paying it
own.
off, thanks. 25% interest. Thank you. Very proud. Very proud of that.
Can't wait for this Christmas. Good times.
Just have your mom listen to this episode.
Yeah.
And say, hey, we're not doing that this year.
Yeah, we talk
We're
about
not
it every
doing
year
that.
and then we just don't do it.
Yeah.
She's always like, all right, so I got 7 gifts for everyone. I'm like,
Ugh.
Mom. I mean, I'm exaggerating.
No, I know, but still, like, that's
Yeah.
a lot to me. But let's save this conversation for the
Christmas
Christmas
time.
special. Like, we're veering off into like content for like
Guys, my
6
favorite
months
thing
from
about
now.
4th of July is
Vertical content.
Exactly. Vertical content.
I don't know.
Not getting blown up by fireworks.
Good Lord. Wow.
You saw how it is around here.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Oh, that is true.
It's a
LA.
war zone,
Yeah,
bro. It's
yeah.
a war
Crazy.
zone.
There were a few fireworks that got really close, and I was like, God damn.
I didn't mean to bring up 4th of July to make us talk about it. I was making a joke. We should save that for the 4th of July episode.
Dang it.
John Watts has left Fantastic Four. Thoughts?
Good. Let him rest.
He needs a vacation. He's been working on Spider-Man for 6 years.
Yeah, I agree.
Done. Next topic.
topic. We saw the Avatar: The Way of Water trailer in 3D. Thoughts?
But we saw it twice.
Yeah.
Once in Dolby 3D.
We saw it 3 times. We saw it
And then we saw it on YouTube.
two screenings
Yeah.
Yeah.
in a row, and
Yeah.
then 4 days later on a Thursday,
Doctor Strange.
we saw it with Doctor Strange in 3D.
Oh, that's right. We did watch it 2 times at that.
Thoughts?
Good. Thoughts?
I like the 3D.
Hector?
The 3D looks really great.
Yeah.
I still don't know if the movie's going to be as big as a
Yeah.
hit. Like, it's weird to
Hey,
see.
you're talking too much. Shut
Too
it
much.
down. Shut it
There
down.
it is.
All right, we're done.
Okay.
All right.
And that's our show,
That's
guys.
our show.
Thanks for watching. Bonus.
I'm glad
bonus.
Hector drives all the way over here for us to have a 5-minute conversation. All right.
Well,
I guess we're going to go.
Truly, though,
Yeah.
I saw those 2 news topics, and I knew I was like, I know I'm going to be on the same page with these guys. What, was Augustine going to come in with like, John Watts should have stayed on it? No.
Right, no.
We're not, he's not a psychopath.
Former VFX artists who are
Yes.
like, go take a
Yes,
break,
yes,
bro.
yes.
Exactly.
So
we know what it's like. People need
Yeah.
breaks.
Yeah.
Get off projects.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Relax. Take time for
Yeah.
yourself.
You know-
Especially if, I mean, we can keep dragging this out, but because of the fact that it seems like Marvel Studios probably wants to get Fantastic Four going sooner rather than
Right,
later.
Yeah.
right.
They're not waiting around for James Gunn to finish, for John Watts to go do another
Right,
movie
right,
or
right.
something the way they were with James Gunn, because they're like, we're not going to do Guardians 3 unless it's James Gunn.
Right.
And they did that. And then they waited, they postponed it,
Yeah.
and they'll figure out how to slot Guardians of the Galaxy 3 into whatever the chronology is.
And they're going to figure out how to slot Brad Bird into taking over the Fantastic
maybe.
Four.
I mean, maybe it'd be a little on the nose,
Hey,
but
bro, that's what we need right now. Who has gotten Fantastic Four right? Who? Tell me who.
nobody.
Exactly.
Just Brad Bird.
Who
Just
do
Brad
we need?
Bird, yeah.
Exactly. Who has gotten it right?
And he also got Superman right with the
Yes.
Iron Giant.
Yeah.
Who else can save this family? Brad Bird
it.
can save this family.
That's true.
Family. And then as far as Avatar goes, yeah, like we liked it.
Yeah.
But we should probably share the one funny thing that happened when we went to see the Avatar.
Should we have a
trailer.
special guest?
I mean, Augustine, you can set this up because I think it's hilarious.
Oh my God.
We're gonna see Doctor
We're
Strange.
going to go see the trailer.
Monday night.
Yeah.
Is it with Cynthia?
Yes. And an hour and a half before Doctor Strange is supposed to start, they also set up screenings for the Avatar trailer
Yeah.
in
Yeah.
3D,
Dolby 3D, yeah.
handing us glasses because Doctor Strange is going to be flat.
They tied this on after we had already confirmed
Yeah.
to
Yeah.
watch.
But it's the
Doctor
same place,
Strange.
different
Same place,
theater.
different theater.
So we get
And
into
so
a new line.
Usually, my wife is my plus one. Clearly, she's my wife.
Who'd have thought?
Who'd have thought? And so,
But she was working.
She was working.
Yeah.
But I told her the couple days before, I was like, "Hey, so we just got confirmed for the Avatar trailer.
Yeah.
It's
at 5:30 p.m.
5:30. I know you're going to be working far away. You probably can miss this one. I don't know if you're into Avatar or
Right.
whatever.
But but you'll definitely be here in time for the 7
Doctor Strange,
p.m.
Doctor
Yeah.
Strange
Doctor
screening.
Strange.
And I was like, you know what? You don't have to rush
Sure.
to get over here. It's traffic. It's
And-
LA. Whatever.
Right.
At 5:25 on the dot.
She rushed over after work. She was, man, I don't know how she made it through traffic so quickly. She was on the dot, just ready to go in our seats before everything started. She was so excited. And so I'm sitting next to her, Hector sitting next to me, and then Adam sitting on the other side.
Yeah.
And she turns to all of us. And she's like, so this is the Netflix thing? Like, I'm so excited to see this.
It took me a second, and I was like, what?
Netflix.
And then she follows up with Nickelodeon. And it took me a second, and then I understood what was happening. I went, I said, Cynthia, are you messing with me right now? I thought she was doing a joke.
I'm still confused. I was still confused at this point.
Yeah. You didn't pick up.
It did not register.
I don't think I did.
And then I leaned over to Cynthia, and I was like, Cynthia, this is not Avatar: The Last Airbender.
This is not the new
upcoming Netflix series.
Adaptation.
This is Avatar, James Cameron's Avatar. And then you guys understood what happened.
Yeah.
And then Cynthia was like, "What?" She was like,
"Why did I rush here then?
Why did I rush here?" She goes, Augustine was all excited. I thought it was for Avatar.
The Last Airbender.
Her Avatar. And then we're like, "No." And then she goes, "I haven't even seen that movie."
Yeah. She's like, I could have gone out and got food and taken my time.
Anyway, she thought the trailer looked interesting.
Yeah.
There's no story.
Yeah.
It's just
the trailer doesn't give you any story.
Yeah,
and
no
then
story whatsoever.
So then she starts asking. Oh no! Before we actually watched the trailer, because it was still maybe like 5-10 minutes away.
Yeah.
It's starting a little late. It's not.
Yeah.
It's not quite 5:30, but it's like 5:28. And then I lean over to Cynthia and I go, Cynthia, tell us everything you know about James Cameron's Avatar, just through like pop culture osmosis. And she was like, well, what did she say? She goes, there's blue people. She goes, there's people with blue faces.
Yeah.
And then she goes, and then there's people, and then they hook into like a program, and it's like AI. And we were like, no, that's not what this is. And she goes,
Avatar and The Matrix just became one movie.
And she goes, and somebody corrupts the AI. That's what it's about. Like it separates
and she's
you from
never
the
seen The Matrix.
fantasy world, and she's never seen The Matrix. Hilarious, dude. That's so funny. And I was like, no,
You're like, no, wrong.
We're going.
Wrong.
That's not what Avatar was.
No.
So then we see the trailer, and I think afterwards she was like curious and kind of asking us questions, and I was like, Cynthia, we have time. This movie's not coming out till December.
We'll
watch.
You and I both have it in 3D.
I'm like,
we're good.
Don't worry, you'll be caught up.
Be good. Don't worry about that.
It was so funny.
That was wild because never in 1,000 years did I connect those 2 points.
No.
Because I knew what we were watching.
Yeah.
And I completely forgot that she had never seen that movie, and I was like, oh.
But she loves Avatar: The Last Airbender and that whole world.
Yeah.
So like,
exactly.
Because then after that it made sense to me because I'm like, why is she in such a rush to come here to watch a trailer?
Yeah, I was like,
you have till 7. It's all good. If you don't make it, it's no big deal.
She left work early. Like she got in early so she could leave early.
Yeah.
Like this, her day started super early.
She was like
so
invested in The Last Airbender.
Oh man, now I feel bad.
Somebody online said they should have called that movie Pandora. Like the first movie just called it Pandora, and every movie after that, like Pandora, The Way of Water, Pandora. And
it should be the Pandora series,
like,
I feel like.
Yeah, that actually would have been better, frankly. Because I
would've.
Understand that the blue, like Jake's avatar is the avatar.
Right.
But I'm like,
still.
But the movie's about all of the
Pandora.
the characters and stuff. Whereas like Avatar: The Last Airbender, I'm like, that does make sense that it's Avatar: The Last Airbender. Like that almost fits better. I don't know. It's the same, but I'm just like, sorry, Jim.
Just for marketing, it should have been. It would have been easier.
I gotta give it to the Nickelodeon cartoon that came out before y'all's
Pandora
movie.
Chronicles.
Yeah. Sorry, the Pandora Chronicles.
That's pretty good.
That's
pretty good.
Hey man, I need to be part of that team.
Anyway,
I need to cut that check from them.
That's those topics. There you go.
Oh God, great times.
Yeah,
it's been funny to like see people talk about Avatar and be like, I don't think it's gonna do anything, and I'm like, well, we'll find out.
Yeah,
I mean, it's impossible to tell at this point. It's literally impossible to tell because they're already working on part 3,
part 4, and part 5.
I think from what I heard, they're not doing 4 and 5 until 2 comes out. But they did commit to 2 and 3, and I think 3 will come out a year.
They have shot very, very, very few things for the later movies, and I think it's only because they're trying to take advantage of some of the younger actors' ages. Because there's a time jump, so they're trying to do some like flashback stuff that will be in later movies, but they don't want the actors to play grown up, basically.
Gotcha. Yeah, interesting. All right.
Yeah.
Well, we have a buddy who's working on them actively, so we can
Jim
just
Cameron.
talk.
He's
James Cameron. Yeah.
My friend Jimbo
Cameron.
Jimbo, I call him Jim Bob.
Jim Bob.
Yeah, he'll tell me all about it. So
yeah,
we're barbecuing this weekend.
Yeah.
Jim Bob loves being called Jim
Can you
Bob.
ask him about the content vertical integration of Avatar into 20th Century Studios?
How he likes his tri-tip.
Oh, okay.
That's what we're going to talk about.
Great.
Maybe we'll talk about that.
All right, perfect. Can I come?
Yeah,
All right,
totally.
cool. Thank you.
You're good. You're invited to the cookout.
Great. We're going to answer some Patreon questions now. The first one is from Michael McDonald. Do you think we're reaching the saturation point of comic book properties, and as such, the desire will disappear and go away the way of the Western? Or will there always be a place for big blockbuster movies, but the expanded universes on TV/streaming will disappear?
That's a very tough question to ask because we are in a new age of, I guess, content verticals, clearly.
Yeah.
But also, the streaming services have kind of changed the game. And right now, I feel the way that the streaming services are kind of servicing the movie industry is really kind of symbiotic. Like they're both working really well together. Yeah. And I'm talking mainly specifically Disney Plus, and the Marvel movie franchise, because nobody else is really doing it.
Yeah, because DC only thing they've currently had is Peacemaker.
Yeah,
it's the only thing that connects to the DCEU.
And we haven't really seen too many other examples of like big studios using a big IP, but being like, oh, but here's a TV show that ties into it.
Yeah, because even Star Wars, for all the Star Wars shows that they have, they don't necessarily, they do tie into in their later stories, but it's not a direct sequel to Return of the Jedi.
Those movies ended, but then who knows? Maybe they'll greenlight a Mandalorian movie.
Sure,
maybe
a couple of years.
But will a movie serve the Mandalorian justice like the show does, right? Like it's very episodic, and if you think about every episode of the Mandalorian, it's like, oh, we ran out of milk. Oh, it's only at this planet. Oh, we'll give you milk, but you have to kill this monster. Oh, I killed the monster. Here's your milk. Oh, Baby Yoda, drink it. And that's the episode, right? That's
an amazing summary of the whole entire second season.
That's what it is.
So you're saying you want to see that over 2 hours?
No, well, what I'm saying is
Lots
that
of milk.
That's the format that I fell in love with. Why do I want to see it in 2 hours? Right? Like why? What are you going to do in a movie that hasn't already been done very well on Disney Plus?
I see.
So
for me, it even kind of works in the opposite way. Like Doctor Strange is a 2 hour, 6 minute film. I'm like, great. I don't need a 6 hour.
I don't need 6 hours of that, right?
Yeah.
Well, but to go back to that question though, from Mr. Michael McDonald, it's about our comic book and superhero stuff. Is that going to go away like Westerns went away?
Here's the thing: comic books have been around for so long.
Yeah,
those have their audiences. They have the people who will be dedicated to comics and have kept comics alive, honestly, for such a long time. Collectors like you, Hector, but also that guy Zach, who you follow, who takes every comic book and puts it into like this encyclopedic book.
Oh, for sure.
Right? Like those types of people will always love comics and always be there no matter what. Comics hit this super cheesy, crappy phase in the 90s, right? Where it's just like impossible to jump into. You can only read it if you have read the past 10 years of X-Men or X-Force or whatever. They're interdimensional hopping, but the fans still stuck with it and kept it alive. I think there will always be a base of people to watch these movies. Yeah. Have we reached a saturation point? Absolutely. There's nobody, I don't think, that has not heard of this at this point.
Right.
Whether you jump onto it or not, that's up to you. Like, are you going to be a new fan that you've heard of it for the past 10 years?
Right.
You've never jumped in, and you're going to jump in at Doctor Strange the Multiverse of Madness?
Holy God. You need a lot of homework.
But it's also, that's that challenge going forward, because it's the exact same. When you look at the comic book industry went through trends. And when it started and got really huge, it was based around superhero characters of the 30s and 40s.
Right.
World War II, when little kids needed hero characters, and they were all being recycled for the war effort. Like it was just crazy. And they were, being used as propaganda, like Captain America, which is propaganda, but it's good propaganda. But anyway, then in the 50s, that went away when the war was over.
Right.
And they shifted to Westerns and crime comics and romance comics and things that were reflecting how American life had changed.
Right.
And then superheroes came back in the 60s to reflect counterculture and psychedelia and what was happening in the U.S. And superheroes since the 60s have pretty much remained the number one type of comic book that sells.
Right.
So now when you look at movies, superheroes have really taken over all those big spots.
Yeah.
And it's less...
Doctor Strange, $450 million opening weekend worldwide.
Wild. It's less about original blockbusters like Avatar or Jurassic Park or, based on a high-selling novel or Terminator or whatever. And it's more based on superhero comic book characters. So it's like, will they remain the number one big draw for big movies in film? when you look at comics today, it's still superheroes. They're still going, and Marvel and DC and all the other companies have figured out ways to get. They're constantly trying to figure out ways to get new readers in while still acknowledging, but it's still the same story.
Yeah.
So that's the challenge going forward. Is like, are people going to be interested enough in Moon Knight by itself to be like, oh, okay, I haven't seen a Marvel movie in like 6 years, but Moon Knight was cool. I watched that. Okay, great. So now the next time Moon Knight appears in a movie or a show, are you going to be invested in? Yeah, I'll follow that guy. Yeah. And that's what Marvel readers do. They don't read every comic that comes out every week. They follow their guys. They follow their gals.
They follow their authors. They follow their artists.
That's
they
it.
offer.
That's
they follow
it.
Yeah, their artists.
Whoever they like, right? And that's what I did for a long time with comics. Is I would follow my favorite artists because that's how I wanted to draw. I would start off just drawing from comic books. I think we're always going to have that. Will they always be the number one seller and the number one draw? Probably not.
I don't know.
We're gonna reach some point where they're not. What was the big draw in the 90s? Action stars.
Yeah,
the Arnold Schwarzenegger, the Tom
Jean-Claude, Sylvester Stallone,
Val Kilmer, Sylvester. Like that was the reason people went to the movies, and we're no longer in that movie star age, right? And so, right now we're in an age where it's like the big spectacle of the superhero movie. And I think that's because people like us finally have money to go and watch these movies. Like these movies were not taking off in the early 90s because we were the kids growing up with those stories. We were not able to tell our own stories. We were not able to verbalize that or visualize that because we didn't have the tools or the knowledge or even the experience to do something like that.
Yeah, the tech for a lot of that stuff just wasn't there at that point.
So it's going to be interesting to see what these kids who grew up with the Marvel Phase 1,
Cinematic Universe,
that's
their Star Wars
books, that was all their things. What are they gonna do when they become directors and writers,
in 30
and
years,
and everything? Like, are they not gonna like it? Is it going to be like the old thing that they liked when they were little?
Look, I'll be honest with you. In 2065, when I'm going to the 87th Marvel film and it's some young new director, I'm going to be super excited to see what they do.
Absolutely. I'm going to be super excited for that.
It's already depressing to be scrolling Instagram and see somebody post like, in 2012, 10 years ago, I saw my first Marvel movie in theaters.
You know what's even more depressing?
I'm like, what?
When people are like, I used to watch you three in high school. Now I'm a professional in this thing. I'm like, get the farts out of here.
Whoa.
You farting, get the farts out of here.
I used to watch you guys when I was in third grade, and now I share your videos with my grandson. What happened?
But it is crazy to think about because I think about it, I'm like, I saw Batman 89 in theaters.
Yeah.
Batman Returns.
Yeah.
There are kids who saw Avengers as their first cinematic experience.
Right. It's crazy. It's crazy, huh? It's very crazy. Once again, tough question to answer. We can only speculate. But I think there will always be just a core base of people
for sure.
Always follow this
and I think at a certain point, like you were saying, it'll go up and it'll go down. There'll be less superheroes and there'll be more. And I think it's going to be on Marvel, DC, Warner Brothers, Disney, Lucasfilm, all that to find ways to do something new, do something different, and not just kind of repeat what they've been doing. Like if the MCU kind of feels and looks the same now in 2065, then I'm going to be like, what? You guys missed out on a lot of opportunity here.
They're not. They're really shaking things up with this multiverse and stuff. So that's great.
So we'll see. Ciara Brown asked, did any of you watch Legends of Tomorrow before it was canceled? If not, would you consider watching it? It has the first Muslim superhero and tons of LGBTQ plus representation, along with absolutely bonkers storylines. Talk about treating a comic book show with the seriousness it deserves.
I think we're going to hear that word a lot tonight.
What?
Bunkers.
Bunkers.
Every time we hear the word, we got to take a drink.
Do we have a sound that can?
Yeah, right.
Do we have a bunkers?
No. That's bunkers.
That's bunkers.
It's yes, Legends of Tomorrow is great. I've seen a handful of episodes. I've seen. I want to say most of season 1, most of season 2, maybe. I forget exactly where I and I would check in occasionally as things were progressing. It's a great show. I think it's fantastic, and I think that those reasons you listed are also great. It has like a pretty interesting and diverse group of characters and a fun cast, and it's classic TV, almost like Saturday afternoon action stuff, just like
serials,
just like Hercules, The Legendary Journeys, Xena Warrior Princess, the stuff we grew up with, where it's like, oh, this is really fun TV that's not taking itself too seriously, but man, is it enjoyable to watch, and it's really remains consistent.
Yeah.
That's what Legends is. The rest of the Arrowverse is maybe doing this.
Yeah.
Ups and downs, and Legends is just like, we're cool, man.
I think that's what I love so much about Legends of Tomorrow, because you, I've only seen a handful of episodes, including the one where they meet George Lucas, which is
really
amazing.
Fun. Really fun.
And I think that's what I like about it so much, is that it doesn't try to take itself too seriously.
Yeah.
The fact that show got that it made it through 7 seasons, and it's that kind of like ridiculous and disconnected from the tone of the rest of the Arrowverse, I'm like, that's amazing.
That's great.
I'm so happy for them, because I have enjoyed what I've seen, and whether or not we'll watch it, who knows?
I've never seen an episode, but I'm going to be very honest with you. What's your name?
Yeah.
Sierra
Brown.
I'm not going to watch the show. I apologize. I'm not going to lie to you.
You got too much 90 Day Fiance to catch up on.
I have too much garbage TV. Bitch and rides. 90 Day Fiance. I'm sorry. I cannot fit in Legends of Tomorrow.
Yeah, it's too much.
Apologize.
It's true. I mean,
and I just want to be honest with you. I'm not going to lie to you.
You're being honest. You're being honest.
Yeah.
Unless we make it a Patreon goal to watch every episode of every Arrowverse show. I'm just putting it out there.
I'm going to make it a Patreon goal that we all have to watch 90 Day Fiancé then.
No. It's called Heroes Reforged, not
90 Days Reforged. Next question from David Lone Wolf Wright. What is your favorite type of burrito? In 3, 2, 1... California burrito.
California, here we come. California. Phantom. Is that Phantom Planet? Who does that? Who does that? I'm gonna look it up.
I think it's Forbidden something.
I will say California burrito is. I honestly don't know what song you guys are talking about.
The OC, baby.
I never listened to that.
I didn't either. Or watch it.
I will say that the burritos you and I have been having recently have been
it's really good.
Fucking
yeah.
Really good.
We should go one of the nights before he gets here.
Ding dong and
Phantom Planet.
But I mean, Hector's had some good burritos though. I mean, here in LA.
Sure.
I will say that it's hard to come close to that California burrito, but there's a couple that we've had around here, Hector, and just put up a really good. Yeah.
My favorite type of burrito is in my mouth.
Exactly. It's hard to go wrong, but actually, no, it's not hard to go wrong.
I'm not gonna.
I had a pretty bland ass burrito the other day.
What are you looking up?
Nothing. But I was just gonna say, I don't know why, but I was like, he's probably gonna say something like Taco Bell or some shit.
Me?
Yeah, I don't know why.
Listen, dude, I'm gross. I'm not that gross.
Yeah,
but I am a garbage rat.
You are.
What did I eat last night? I was just like, this is good.
But you were at Disneyland, though.
So my wife and I go to Disneyland to enjoy the food, basically. They have so much good limited food.
Of course.
Yeah.
And Hector messages me. He's like, we brought candy bars and energy drinks. We're fucking wired.
We're good to go.
I'm just like,
I said, we pulled over 7-Eleven.
You clearly have not gone to Disneyland enough.
We got some sugar-free monsters, and I had a Big Cat. I was good to go. I was good to go.
There's so much good food.
I know. But you know what they sell now? They sell Reese's peanut butter cups with potato chips inside. Have you had those?
No.
I'm not a monster, Hector.
Okay, they're fine. They're
so
fine.
much good food inside.
Did you take this ding dong to get that cold brew coffee?
But here's the reality.
We were right next door, and he didn't want it. Hector doesn't drink coffee.
Here's the reality about Disneyland food. Is that if you are not planning to go to a specific food item, it's sometimes tough to make it part of your day.
Wrong.
For
fucking
example,
wrong. For example.
Wrong.
For example, I'm really craving a hot dog or a corn dog. I'm really craving a Disneyland corn dog. I'm in line for some ride right now. Like, okay, then
you really need to download the app.
Dude, bro, I know, but it's like, what are you going to
order ahead of time?
Okay.
And then go get it when you're done with the ride.
Yes.
Yeah, but even then, it's
that's it.
Pick it up on the way.
All right, maybe I'm wrong, I guess.
And
whatever.
you zero
That's
wait
fine.
time in line.
That's fine.
Ay, pendejo, you don't know nothing.
I'm just saying, when you go to Disneyland, it's the same with shopping. It's the same with rides.
Last time Hector went to Disneyland was 1962.
But
Yes,
guys,
it's true.
not everything is available at your fingertips the second you want it to be. You still have to make it part of your day, and there's a finite amount of hours in the day. That's
I've never heard Hector sound so
That's what I'm
entitled
saying.
before in my
I know.
life.
It's not no, I'm not entitled. You're the guy. You guys are the ones that are like,
It's on the app.
Just on the app. Just
You
go.
just go. Blip, blip,
I'm
blip,
like,
blip.
just go.
I'll be there in 30 minutes.
sorry,
Bye.
Leave my place in line for Space Mountain. You guys know
No,
how
that's the perfect
Disneyland
thing. You don't
works?
have to. You can literally
then you
choose a
go
window of
after.
time.
Great. So
We're
then-
all going to have to go together.
Once I get through the ride,
We're just gonna have to
40
order-
minutes later, I'll have a corn dog.
Yeah.
And then then I have 3 hours left in the park, and then the park closes. Like I'm just saying, you have.
Man, I had a bread bowl at 11:45 last time I went. It was great.
It's also very different when you're an annual pass holder.
Yeah,
because you don't have to go and.
That's
do
true.
everything.
You don't feel pressure to do everything in one day.
Right.
You can like last night we all went together.
You do.
I
two
literally,
things.
Yeah.
I literally just went to do nothing.
Yeah.
I literally just went to go grab. What did I eat?
Walk around.
Nothing. I didn't eat anything last night.
We had some of those Ronto wraps.
You had a Ronto
Those are pretty
wrap.
good. I don't mind them.
Yeah,
They're good.
right. I
They're
like
good.
it.
I didn't.
liked
Oh,
it.
we went to Oga's Cantina.
That's it.
Oh yeah.
Is that
That's it.
all you guys did?
That's all I did.
That's cool.
I'll be back next week.
Yeah.
I'll be fine.
The only thing that we don't like is the parking.
Yeah.
I mean
The full price parking
Yeah.
after like 7 o'clock. I'm like, come on, man.
$30.
I know.
Get
You
outta
could
here.
drop
I'm
it by
here for-
50%.
I know.
Get
Yeah.
out of here.
It's
All
the
right,
only
let's
thing.
go on to the next question.
Now you're mad.
Yeah.
Okay.
Taco
I'm
Masia
angry.
asks, have you seen Everything Everywhere all at once? If so, what did you think about it? And if not, would you consider seeing it? The movie is so bonkers in the way that it handles the concept of the multiverse. Plus, the film is about an immigrant family trying to make it in America.
What
It
did I
might
say?
be the perfect movie for the CzechXicans podcast.
I said bonkers. Take a drink.
Bonkers, absolutely.
Take a
I'm
drink.
done with my.
Yeah. You've seen the movie.
Congratulations
We
to
have-
James Hong on getting his Hollywood star
Right.
on the Walk
Did
of
you
Fame.
see it?
Yes, I did.
Okay,
we saw it together.
We all saw it then.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I wish I had not listened to reviewers before I watched this movie.
Oh, why?
Because everybody was like, "This movie is life changing."
Oh no,
This movie
you didn't like
was
it?
the no,
No.
I liked
we
the movie.
liked it, but I think we both felt like the internet overhyped it
The
too
movie,
much.
the internet's way overhyped with this movie. This movie is fantastic.
Yeah.
The
Yeah.
acting's
Like, it's
amazing.
a very good
The
film.
story's amazing.
Yeah.
Like everything that was presented was
But
absolutely
I thought that
bonkers.
Jesus was gonna like hand his hand to me in the middle of the film.
I don't like the fact that I was listening to people and they're like, they would get into their cars and they're like crying and like they're just like they can't get their words together for this movie.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, guys, it's a very, very good movie.
Yeah.
Is it that good? I don't think so.
know.
I don't think so. There was some moments where I was just like, okay, like I get what you're doing.
I thought it was really funny.
It was really funny.
Yeah.
I will give you that. The movie was the whole butt plug scene, by the way.
Hey, don't spoil it, man. If people haven't seen it
they
yet.
If
don't
you
know
haven't
what
seen it yet, what are you doing?
They don't know what we're
That's-
talking about,
that's
by
one
the
of
way.
I mean, now they're gonna.
It's
If
amazing.
that doesn't entice you to watch the
Yeah.
movie, then I don't
Yeah.
know what else
Yeah.
will.
It was pretty hilarious.
But I was like, what am I watching? This is insane.
Yeah.
Absolutely insane.
Have you seen The Swiss Army Man?
No, I haven't seen that.
So
yet.
that's also directed by the Daniels.
Okay, well then there you go.
Yeah,
Like,
I should let you borrow it. It's great.
wild and crazy
It-
times.
It is wild. I didn't
Yeah.
love Swiss Army Man,
Yeah.
but I really loved this movie.
Yeah, this movie was awesome.
It's probably my favorite movie that I've seen this year, and it's each movie that
Yeah.
we're watching. I'm kind of like, do I love this better more than Everything Everywhere? And so far, it hasn't happened. So I mean,
Right.
we're halfway into the
So,
year. So we'll
here's
see.
the thing.
Yeah.
I love Keller. Keller's one of our very best
Yeah,
friends.
yeah.
He told me it's his favorite movie of all time. For
Yeah.
Keller to say that,
It's a lot.
for
for
Keller,
it to be better than like.
Well,
The Life Aquatic, for it
listen.
to be better than The Life Aquatic, I was
I
like,
think it's
this
a-
is big praise.
I think it's a very. I think you guys are onto something because we live in LA,
Right.
because we are surrounded by movie people.
Right.
Yeah.
That go online to talk about
Yeah.
movies and stuff. I think it's not unfair to say that a lot of those folks are like LA hipsters, and I think that this movie is very
Yeah.
hipster friendly. That's all
Yeah.
I'm going to say.
Yeah, you're
it's
right,
very
you're right.
hipster friendly.
Yeah.
I think that this movie plays in LA differently than it would play in other parts of the world. Obviously,
right.
because everybody
For
has
sure.
different context.
Yeah,
Everybody
yeah.
has, So it doesn't surprise me that Keller, who is my favorite hipster,
yeah, absolutely.
is
I love
coming out of the
Keller.
gate being like, "This is my
Yes.
favorite movie ever." I'm like, "That, yeah,
Yes,
absolutely."
that's very
but
high
it is
praise.
an amazing film.
I take Keller's
Yeah.
opinion very seriously.
Yes, you do.
And so I was like, oh
Yeah.
my gosh, this movie's gonna like, I'm
Mm-hmm.
not gonna be the same person when I come out of this, right? It was a really good movie. Am I the different person? No. Was it
Yeah.
predictable? Yes. Did I live through generational trauma? Absolutely.
Yeah.
But like, is this something that like I'm gonna go
Yeah.
out on the internet
Yeah.
and like
You know what
have
else
a
though?
fest over? No.
About that specific aspect of the generational trauma, I think the other reason that the movie's hitting as hard as it is especially, and maybe because maybe I'm speaking out of my sort of experience, but it feels like, especially for the Asian American community, they're like, dude, we never get this.
Right.
Yeah.
They're
Absolutely.
like, oh, this type of stuff is never talked about in movies about us.
Right.
And so it's really, really hitting. I'm spoiled because I just saw Disney do it in Encanto.
Right,
Generational
exactly.
trauma. You know what I mean? I saw Coco. I'm like, I feel like I've had a little bit of some big movies and some
Yeah,
acknowledgement
yeah.
from some big studios for like Latino
For a little
experience.
bit.
A little bit. But so I think that's another reason.
No,
It's
you're
definitely
right. You're right. But also,
sure.
like that kind of generational trauma, even though there were some very specific Asian elements to it.
Yes.
Not Asian specific.
It's universal.
It's a family. At the end of the day, it's a family
An immigrant
issue.
thing is an
Right.
immigrant
Because we
issue.
related to it.
Exactly. Like we related to. I had no issues relating to this movie.
For sure.
And identifying myself as one of the characters, right? So
There's definitely an in for everyone, potentially.
And
yeah.
Michelle Yeoh is
Michelle Yeoh's
Oh my
amazing.
God.
Dude,
The little
Kwan.
Yes, she's
With the fanny
incredible.
pack. Oh my
She's
God.
incredible.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Like
The daughter,
Zero
everybody.
issues with this movie.
Yeah.
Whatsoever.
Other than
I
Jesus
just-
didn't come through the screen.
Exactly. I just wish.
Thank God he didn't.
I just wish everybody would have shut up about this movie.
Yeah.
Because I feel like I would have enjoyed it more.
I think I was lucky in that Abby and I think we did see it a little earlier than
Yeah. Because
yeah.
we saw it, I think,
So-
the weekend after it premiered.
I was
I
like,
saw it
whoa.
after like 30 million TikToks of people talking about
Yeah.
this
Sorry.
movie.
Well, so that was the thing for me, I guess, was also different. I saw some reviews and I saw people's tweets, but I didn't really watch any like videos about it.
I saw a TikTok
Yeah.
of a girl getting into her car,
crying.
just sobbing. Like she couldn't even say a word. And she was like, I just
Hey.
saw everything everywhere. And she's like,
Can I throw something out there? You guys remember like 10 years ago, 15 years ago when YouTube was like starting?
Yeah.
And when you look at what YouTube is today, I think we can all agree, other than us, of course, because we're perfect. It's like
Absolutely.
YouTube is like a heightened reality. Like
Yes.
people typically who put themselves
This is a
in
green
videos.
screen. I don't know if people know. but-
It's
We're
a
in the volume.
Yeah.
Has that happened to TikTok yet? It has, right? People that are on TikTok to make TikTok videos,
Yes.
it's a heightened like they're
Yeah.
letting themselves feel everything at 1,000.
Yeah.
And then they
Yeah.
put themselves
The
whatever.
movie studio will let me go if I pretend I love it.
yeah.
It's a heightened reality. I'm just
No,
saying.
you're absolutely
I know
right.
you're all about TikTok and you're on it and you're good at it, but I'm saying be wary. Be wary of
you're
The
right.
dark side of
You're
the
right.
force.
But
Yes.
here's the thing: I
Yeah.
was just scrolling,
Yeah.
taking it with a grain of salt,
Sure.
For sure.
but seeing it over and over and over
Okay.
again as I'm scrolling.
Yeah.
I'm like, what's
Fair.
the hype with this movie?
Fair.
And it worked in at least piquing my interest. Where
For sure.
normally I wouldn't have watched a movie like this.
Right.
Where
Yeah.
normally I
Right.
would have been like,
You see-
here's another kooky 823 movie.
Best case scenario would have been if Adam had been like, "Hey, come," and just went
yeah.
with that.
So
and you're
that
like, okay.
so that was the kicker was
Yeah.
Keller telling me it was the
Yeah.
greatest movie, his favorite movie of all time, and I was like, okay, I have to go watch this now.
Yeah.
for
After
sure.
80 million,
I can't even get him to go see The Northman, but Keller can go get him to see that.
bro. Yeah, and apparently one of my people that I know is like The Northman is even better than Everything Everywhere All at Once.
I'm gonna go see The Northman tomorrow.
So I'm just like, okay,
We'll
I
find
wish
out.
I wish you wouldn't have told me that either.
Yeah.
Like, because now I'm coming in with all this hype.
Yeah.
So
Hey,
don't
dude,
listen
you know
to
what's,
us.
You know what's crazy?
You don't listen to us either.
Augustine, here's the craziest thing. Out of all of those movies, Legends of Tomorrow is better than all of them put together. So, like, I think you have to start watching it now.
think so.
I'm kidding. Like, please don't.
Expectations too high.
Too high.
Expectations
Too high.
Oh,
First
man.
episode, they meet and save Jesus Christ. Legends of Tomorrow.
I'm not
go
even
back in
religious
time.
though, so I'm like, that's
Okay.
Second episode.
Is he played by Tony Hawk
Did they save
or?
a dog? Because that'd be interesting.
Second episode, they killed baby Hitler. Awesome.
Oh,
Okay,
in
that's a
that
good one.
case.
I'm kidding.
That's
I'm
a good
kidding.
one then.
That's too
Yeah.
much.
Yeah.
But I'm pretty
Too
sure
sexy.
Maybe they did kill Hitler on that show. I can't remember. They would do it on Legends of Tomorrow.
Actually, I think they might. I think they might have. I think there was something revolving
So
around
the
that
moral of
plot.
the story is go watch The Northman, go watch Everything Everywhere All
Yeah.
at Once, and go watch Legends of Tomorrow.
Yes,
Yeah, there you
that's
go.
your homework.
And
That's
rank
what you
them
gotta do.
and tell us what's the best.
Cody Rowan asks, have you guys given the Expanse a go?
No, not yet.
With Shorey Agdashlu.
Love
Once
her.
again, 90 Day Fiance.
You're like, I'm never gonna
Legends
watch
of Tomorrow.
I would eventually get to it, but I'm watching other stuff right now.
Yeah.
I always try to watch a show with my girlfriend. We just finished Russian Doll. We're behind
Oh,
on
nice.
everything. It's fine. Yeah, Natasha Lyonne.
Yeah.
I think
Cool show.
these questions from people, as nice and genuine as they are, it's very difficult for me.
We're just disappointing them. I know.
Yeah, I know.
I know. It's
Because
okay.
like I'm not into every fandom
That's okay.
all at once.
That's okay.
I'm
Everything
not into
everywhere?
Everything everywhere all at once.
But it's also okay for, because I'm in the same boat. If
Yeah.
I am super excited about something and you guys are like, oh, I haven't done that yet, it's healthy for me to be like, okay, Hector, not everyone's into that thing. Just enjoy it. You know what I mean? It's just okay. Just like stay in your lane. Like don't
Just like
take
we
it
haven't done any
personal.
Star Trek content.
Right. And I'm
Right.
like, I'm still holding out hope, but I also, it's like, it's okay. It's either we will or we won't.
Right.
It's not a big deal.
Hey,
And
man,
I'm
that's
not-
up to you. If you want to do it, we'll do it.
And I'm not putting, and I don't think that when people ask us, I don't
Yeah.
think that it's them.
Hey,
you
go
know,
watch that thing,
Right.
please.
And I also
Gonna
think,
unsubscribe. Don't do
Yeah.
it. Don't kill me.
I think the question
I'll lose a
about-
leg.
I think that Everything Everywhere led to a little great answer too.
Yeah.
So even if we don't give a response that maybe somebody's hoping for.
Right.
If we get one of these questions and we go, guess what we're going to announce? We're going to start reacting to that show. Like we're probably not going to do that for these types of things, but we'll see. We'll still be honest. And,
There's stuff in the works, guys.
We still appreciate you guys asking.
Yeah, for sure. Anthony Sanchez asks, what do you guys think are the quintessential comic book storylines of your favorite superheroes? Story that you believe that everyone should read if they like that character.
This is too difficult, so here's what we're going to do.
Yeah.
You got Wolverine, you've got Superman, and I've got Spider-Man.
Easy.
So we're each going to pick one, a quintessential comic storyline that we think is like, you should seek it out if you like this character. Do you want Batman instead?
No, I'll take Superman.
Okay.
I'll pick one, but I have two.
I have one for Spider-Man, and I'll say, you know what?
Can I switch mine to Hulk?
You want Hulk instead?
Yeah.
You take Hulk.
Yeah.
I'll take Spider-Man.
Right.
And the one I'll say is, I would say a quintessential one would be basically the opening sort of story arcs and keep going if you want to of Ultimate Spider-Man. I think we all read some of that. We all grew up with that. It was the reimagining from the year 2000. And if you follow that series, and it seems like a lot, but they're actually super quick to read because it's a modern comic.
Yeah.
It's all on Marvel Unlimited. And if you get there and you go all the way through it, towards the end, they introduce Miles Morales. And it's a beautiful look at all of Spider-Man history and what makes it great with some great reimaginings. And so that's what I'll say is Ultimate Spider-Man. What's your Hulk story?
My Hulk story is Planet Hulk going into World War Hulk.
Excellent.
I feel like that story really made me understand and fall in love with the character of Hulk. Yeah. Which is why I'm really holding out hope that they do something really dope with him in the MCU.
Yeah, it still could happen.
Because he has so much potential. And it can. I know the crowds kind of love him as just like kind of a goofy.
No, dude, they don't.
He's like
the internet hates Mark Ruffalo, Bruce Banner in the MCU.
I guess I don't know.
Is your TikTok too nice? No. Are you not on YouTube?
I'm just looking at it. I'm looking at it with rose-colored glasses. Sure. Like I only look at the people loving him.
Fuck Twitter.
Yeah,
exactly. Exactly.
That's a chef joke for anybody who didn't get it.
Yes,
chef. That's funny.
But I feel like the world needs to fall in love with Hulk like I have fallen in love with Hulk.
Sure.
And that story really makes it clear like who he is, what he stands for, and he comes back and tries to kill everybody, which is awesome. So yeah.
And have you read Planet Hulk while listening to the Thor Ragnarok music?
Not yet.
Oh shit!
I read it before Ragnarok came out.
The Mark Mothersbaugh score is perfect.
Yeah.
And if you reread it now, bonus, you may read Korg with a New Zealand accent.
I will read Korg with a New Zealand accent.
Sometimes doesn't fit, and sometimes it fits perfectly. So it's great.
It's worth a reread. I definitely need the omnibus of. That's probably one of my favorite comic book stories of all time.
It's excellent.
Nice.
Adam, Superman.
Yeah, I had two, but if I was going to pick one, I'd probably say the John Byrne run of Superman is pretty great from 1986. Yeah, it's like after Infinite Crisis, and it's kind of like a reimagining of Superman, and it slowly kind of like leads into it takes a few years, but you eventually will get to the death of Superman. But I feel like that's like a really good starting off point to kind of like understand the character,
especially the sort of modern. It's like, Augustine, you picked a very this is Hulk. Modern snapshot.
Yeah.
I think Ultimate Spider-Man is really sort of, this is the beginning, a good jumping on point for modern Spidey.
Yeah.
And the John Byrne era is really like, this is where a lot of ideas of modern Superman.
Yeah.
Again, it's not 50s.
No.
It's not Golden Age, which is awesome in their own ways. Modern.
Yeah, and I think it's a nice way, because I think as we always talk about, a lot of people have a hard time connecting with Superman and him being an all-powerful character and all that stuff, but I think like there's a lot of books in there, and I think it's in nine volumes. I think it's collected in 9 volumes. I think.
Plus, like you said, going into the death of Superman is epic.
Yeah, it's really epic, and all kinds of stuff happens. But I think that's probably like a really good starting off point if you're like willing to not have to go all the way back to 1938.
Yeah. Okay, there you go.
That's a good question.
That's some good homework for you.
We just had to. I wanted to whittle it down.
Yeah.
So,
otherwise, we could be here for 15,000 years.
There's like 1,000 different. Like I would point to Invincible and read all that.
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
That's something you could do.
Justin Doodle asks, if the three of you were all given the opportunity to make a Stan Lee style cameo in an upcoming MCU or DC film, which would you pick, and what would you like to be doing? Would you all cameo separately or as a trio?
I have to interrupt with this and go. I feel like we'd have to be together.
For one.
We almost had that opportunity.
For one cameo.
We did have an opportunity, but they changed the story.
Yeah.
A buddy of mine was a producer on season 1 of The Boys.
Yeah.
And they were going to do a quick cuts of like
different
people,
YouTubers.
of different YouTubers, like news personalities reacting to things that are happening on the news.
So then to answer this question, to give you some examples, Stan Lee in the background of movies has been a hot dog vendor.
Yeah.
He's been a mailman.
Yep.
He has been
an
astronaut, or
was he an astronaut in Guardians?
Like he was
an astronaut traveler watching.
Yes.
He was talking to the Watchers.
A Watcher
Right.
informant is his character.
Yeah.
name.
Oh, okay.
Watcher informant. Anyway, what would the three of us? What would we be doing in a? Is it asking a
DC or Marvel?
Oh.
I think it would have, if it was all three of us, it would be a YouTube capacity. Almost like they try to get us for The Boys, right?
Yeah.
Like that would have been cool.
And we're reacting to Tom Holland Spider-Man.
Yeah, we're
doing
reacting
something.
to real life superheroes, basically.
or it's either that, or I would think that we would be. What was the show that was actually a DC show that was on NBC, and it was like a workplace show? Powerless.
Yeah.
But it would be, we would be more like news anchor types or like commentators who are talking about the situation.
Or just like three best friends in an office, just like talking about this, just like we were when we met. Just like it would cut to
We'd basically just be Meek, Korg, and Thor.
It would be
in
like
Norway.
We're supporting characters who are just always talking about superheroes around the main characters. Who are like,
guys, what if we wrote a comic book about Thor?
Yeah, that would be pretty funny. What about individual?
See, that'd be kind of fun, right?
What about individual cameos?
No, I
what
don't
would
want to
you
do
want
individual cameos. We got to do it together.
Theoretical.
I don't know.
Individual.
I was gonna say it would be fun if like we were like in like a Nova movie and Nova flew by and all three of us were on the street and we're like, oh, like one of those kinds of reaction shots would be really fun.
I think we would be in the Nova Corps. We would have to be in the Nova Corps.
We'd have to get in
We
shape.
would be the trio in the Nova Corps.
I'd have to lose a lot of weight.
No, CG bodies. CG bodies. Yeah.
It's all motion tracked anyway.
Everybody has CG bodies.
Great.
But the three of us would be the three teammates but in the Nova Corps, like an elite three that comes in like when things happen. They're like, call the trio.
You know how like
we wouldn't have a story arc. Just like we do cool shit.
You know how like Jason Sudeikis and Adam Pally were the voice of stormtroopers? I don't even know if they suited up, but like in The Mandalorian, it's like, let's the three of us be voices of stormtroopers or something
like that.
Cool. You know, Mr. Freeze's goons in the Batman 2 or
like
something.
Like the three goons who show up in every scene and just have some smart ass shit to say. That would be hilarious.
Anyway,
it's the goon of trios.
We don't really do anything. We just kind of like sit in the background.
Hey, we got to get new jobs. That guy in Iron Man.
I hate this job, but I love it.
Yeah. We'd be the ones in the background of the Obi-Wan Kenobi show being like, you hear that Darth Vader doesn't go to Mustafar because it's traumatizing?
That's what I heard. And then,
but somehow we always survive to the next scene.
Yeah. Oh man, I got my guts redone on the Death Star.
Until we're on a planet and it's Alderaan, and then
exactly.
Oh shit!
And we're in the next scene.
Oh, floating
on a
piece
meteorite.
That'd be great.
That'd be so good. How do we make that happen?
I don't know. We would have to fan edit.
That's right.
Let's edit this episode, this part of the podcast, and
send it to everyone
on social media.
Yeah.
That's what we got to do.
Perfect. Yeah. And you're going to be responsible for retweeting it. Super Dude 95 asks, is there anything that you have always dreamed of seeing or doing, places or activities, etc., but have never been able to do? What would some of these be for you guys, and what do you think it would take for all of you to be able to do them now?
That's a very good question.
Lack of pandemic would be pretty cool.
Yeah.
I mean, what traveling? You're not a travel-minded person, Hector.
No, I want to go to Japan though.
Okay. Is there anything specifically you want to see in Japan, or just enjoy
Pokemon Center? Basically,
my cousin works for Pokemon USA. He's in London right now. At a Pokemon event.
The fuck?
That's cool. Let me show you.
Text him real quick.
Let me show you.
He got all excited.
This is not for everybody's eyes.
Is your cousin Brock?
No, he is
cousin Nurse Joy.
He is in. So he's a big. Me and him grew up. Me and him are the reason why I'm into comic books and stuff because he was into it as well, but he didn't follow it. But this is him.
Dude.
He's he's at the Pokemon HQ in London.
What?
Yeah, big shout out to my cousin who is a big geek like us. But
I gotta get some hookups from that guy.
Yeah, well, I'll talk to him a little about it for you.
What about you guys? You guys want to wear Speedos on a beach in Greece?
Brazil, baby.
Brazil,
yeah,
let's do it.
Thong
Brazil.
Speedo. Thong Speedos
Rio
in Brazil.
de Janeiro.
Yeah, for sure. I've been very fortunate. I've gotten to travel a lot. I got very lucky with New Zealand.
Yeah.
God damn.
I've been on safari in South Africa.
Trip of a lifetime.
I went to Prague with you guys, and that was incredible.
Well, it wasn't just Prague. It was like Prague, Berlin, Budapest.
That was an incredible trip. Like, that whole thing was just really good. I've seen Big Ben. I think one of the only things I haven't seen is maybe the Northern Lights. I'd like to see the Northern Lights a little bit. That's what I really want to go see, yeah. I haven't been to Japan.
I've seen those in movies.
I want to recreate the motorcycle trip.
Motorcycle Diaries?
The motorcycle. So, do you guys watch Top Gear? Have you guys ever seen Top Gear?
I've seen episodes,
90 Day Fiance. I don't watch Top Gear.
Top Gear's great. The guy ended up being an asshole.
Cool.
But they do this one series of episodes where they take a scooter/motorcycle trip down from the top of Vietnam to the bottom of Vietnam.
Oh, cool.
And I feel like all three of us could do that.
What?
Because it's such a motorcycle/scooter friendly country.
How long does it take? 45 minutes?
It took like 3 or 4 days.
Whoa.
Like, it was a long one.
Hector's like, I'll watch the entire MCU instead.
But like,
I'll have it on my phone.
They also did this really cool thing called a junk. What'd you say?
I said my phone charges now. I'll bring my phone on the trip.
Yeah, you can do it now.
Oh my God.
They also did this really cool thing called a junk boat, where you could rent a whole boat for you and like 13 other people.
Yeah.
And the ship, who is it? The pilot?
Captain?
The captain.
Yes.
There you go. I don't know who drives a boat. They just go around wherever you want.
That's cool.
The beers are 50 cents each.
Wow.
Like, food is like $1.
Oh my sweet God.
Like, it's just like this incredible like personal yacht that you get to
You had my attention. Now you have my curiosity.
Let's do a junk boat in Vietnam, you guys.
That'd be cool.
Yeah, that's a pretty good trip. What about you, Adam?
It's definitely, I would say mine's definitely more travel based. I definitely want to go to Canada. I really want to go see the Northern Lights. Japan is a big one on my list as well.
A big one, yeah.
Seems like a really beautiful place and just an interesting culture and just a fun culture.
Yeah.
So yeah, I would say mine is primarily travel based. If there's anything that I want to do, yeah, I'd love to direct something.
Yeah.
But if I keep on putting out 10 videos a week for you guys, it's never going to happen. So
just get more subscribers.
Now he's
get
putting it on
more
you.
money.
Yeah.
And we'll pay everybody
Also,
to make our videos for us.
I want us to host a panel at San Diego Comic-Con. That's another goal.
I want us to host a panel at San Diego Comic-Con. I also want us to host a movie screening.
Yes.
That's a good one too.
Great goals within our grasp.
Yes.
Those are
Within
more
our
attainable.
They're right
Those are more
there.
attainable.
They're tickling us in places.
Yes. Agreed.
Anything else? No? Great.
Move on.
Next question comes from, I'm going to butcher your name, I'm sorry, Nurhadi Roshami. Hi guys, I have a query. Do you think deepfake artists should get more recognition for their effort and skill? Luke Skywalker looked damn good in the Book of Boba Fett, and I'm all in for future projects whereby this technology can be used positively.
Did you guys watch the
Gallery
Book of Boba Fett?
No.
Oh, not yet.
I did.
Yeah.
It's an hour long.
Nice.
It was awesome. And they talk about how they hired the guy who
Yeah.
did deepfake for
On YouTube.
On YouTube for
Yeah.
Mandalorian end of season 2. He did deepfakes on his own.
Yeah.
Lucasfilm hired the guy.
Yep.
And is now working with Lucasfilm for Lucasfilm, and then they were doing Book of Boba Fett.
Yeah.
So I
Yep.
think to answer your question, yes, and I think it's already happening.
Yeah.
And I don't see it so much as like, oh, deepfake artists should get credit on their own. It's more like
He's an artist.
that's just an emerging technology that
Right.
like if people know how to do that,
Then they can do that.
they should and will get work.
Right.
And
I
yeah.
mean, obviously the technology is very different, but in a sense, we've had that in the MCU for forever. Every single
with the youth. Yeah.
Well, yeah. Every
Young-
single I don't know if people know this, but every single person gets a beauty pass on
That's
their
true.
face.
That's
like,
true. Yes.
their faces are not real. What you're seeing on screen is not really their face.
They're not
like
that
there's
perfect.
digitally things removed, and like there's all kinds of craziness that happens.
Yeah.
And those people are just credited as artists, right?
Right.
This guy who they hired for the face,
Mando.
the
Skywalker.
the deep fake.
Yeah.
He's an artist just like everybody else.
Yeah,
He's
Yeah.
just
absolutely.
better at it than everybody else.
Shamook is his name.
Shamook is his name. He's really good.
Yeah.
I really liked I don't know who did. Oh, I gotta watch some of these.
This is
looks
Shamook. This
interesting.
is the same artist.
I don't know who did it, but somebody took the original Star Trek actors
Uh-huh.
and put their faces on the new Star
Oh,
Trek
JJ?
movies for
Nice.
on
Oh,
the
nice.
J.J. Abrams films produced by
Yeah.
Skydance or whatever, and it was really interesting because it was
Yeah.
like Shatner's face, and you kind of hear Chris Pine delivery and some of the acting, and Leonard Nimoy's face with the Zachary Quinto
Yeah.
performance.
Yeah.
And it was just a fun experiment. It's not like, oh, they shouldn't, try, because right now they have a new actor playing Spock,
Right,
and
right.
then,
Right.
and I will tend to side on that side, But I think that for some instances, I mean, yeah, it's all part of a whole thing of like talking about should actors who have passed away be digitally recreated?
Peter Cushing in Rogue One.
Yeah, should that happen, or should we hire actors? And before anybody goes, you should always hire new actors every single time. I feel like there's certain cases that you're not going to do that for Paul Walker.
Right.
He passed away in the middle of it. Like, they are trying to honor Paul Walker. They're not just trying to be like, well, we need a Brian O'Connor. No, the character of Brian O'Connor is not more important than Paul Walker, the human. So that's what they were trying to do.
Yeah, use his brothers to help him finish it.
And I think the same sort of thing with like Carrie Fisher passing away before able to do the last Star Wars movie.
Right.
I got into it with people online where they're like, they should have, if they wanted to use Leia Organa, they should have just hired another actress. And I'm like, that doesn't make any sense to me.
Yeah. Right.
Because in my mind, Carrie is so...
She is Princess Leia.
Is that character versus...
There's no way around it.
Versus, oh, they're doing a solo movie where he's younger. Okay, great. Get another actor. And, you know, I think
this is a very personal to the actor decision.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Because, first of all, I feel bad for any actors. Like, who's that guy that you said was in Rogue One? Or
Peter Cushing. Grand Moff Tarkin,
Yes, Grand Moff Tarkin, right. I don't know if it was in his scope of thinking to say, oh, even after I'm passed away, they could potentially put me in a
use
movie.
my image.
But now we have Robert Downey Jr., who owns the scans of his face. So if he is in anything, they pay him for it, right? Or his estate. So he could live on forever in the MCU, and his estate is going to continue making money. Now, this is why I say it's personal, because each person can make their decision on whether they want to live forever as a digital copy or not.
Right.
Like, if Carrie Fisher was in her contract to say, hey, you know, if anything happens to me, just replace me digitally and keep me as that person, because I want to keep being that person.
Sure.
So it's not up to us to decide that, because that's the actor's decision.
You're right. And on the flip side, if Carrie Fisher never had to answer that question.
Who answers that question on her behalf?
Filmmakers who are going, well, we want to do this for Carrie.
Exactly.
And I know specifically in the case of Carrie Fisher, like, they let her daughter know.
Billy Lord,
And she was like, that's great. She was like happy about it.
Exactly.
And she played Leia in the flashback in The Rise of Skywalker.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
the
that's
sort of
her.
Body double and, you know, doing the thing. Yeah, so
there
again, it's like involving Paul Walker's family and all that other stuff. So yeah, I mean, there's just it's a whole nother world. It depends on what the context is.
Right.
I think that when deepfake stuff or de-aging is used well, then, you know, and it's appropriate for the context of the story, then go for it.
Right.
I still think that Tron Legacy was ahead of the game. They weren't quite there yet.
No, but I mean, the effort was definitely
doing
there.
it was unheard of at that point.
Yeah.
And I think that if you go and watch Tron, it still kind of makes it make sense, because it's like, I have a digital copy of Jeff Bridges and he's younger.
From
and
1980 something.
He kind of doesn't look right. Well, yeah, because he's digital.
Yeah.
Like, he's in the computer. Like, it's supposed to be a program. Anyway, bunch of stuff to talk about.
I would actually... they'll never do it, but it'd be kind of cool if they did Tron Legacy like a little remaster, and they maybe went in and just fixed it a little bit.
They could.
Yeah, they absolutely could.
I know we had this conversation too when Boba Fett was coming, or when it was coming out, and then Luke Skywalker shows up, and it's like, well, yeah, like what happens when the unfortunate day comes and Mark Hamill passes away?
Right.
Are they going to continue using
the
voice that they computer generated and the look?
He's got that in his contract.
Yeah,
and you know,
he absolutely has to.
For Luke, I'll tell you this.
I would hope so.
I thought that it looked fine. Like, it was, and it is very cool to see young Mark, especially because Mark was still involved and he was on set. And if you watch the Boba Fett,
they show you the behind the scenes.
That two actors were doing it. Here's what I'll say: the voice sounded bad. I'll say visually, I thought he looked great, and I think the problem is because you have characters on set, and Rosario Dawson was speaking, and she felt like she was talking natural on a little hillside with, you know, green.
Her voice sounds like it's ever present.
And Mark Hamill's like, Grogu, you have to do this.
And it's only coming through the center channel.
It's so omnipresent that I'm like, have an actor. First of all, if you have an actor who you're like, he visually looks like Mark Hamill, hire somebody who sounds like Mark Hamill.
Right.
As he was
They've done
in
it.
1983.
They've done it for like so many different movies.
Right. Hire that actor and have that actor stand in place to just deliver the lines so that you get the recording of like, here's what it would sound
like. What's it like on the set?
If a guy who kind of sounded like Mark Hamill, younger Mark Hamill, was on set speaking and it's bouncing off of the trees and it's there the same way, and then mix that with that was my only problem was I'm like this, and then we learned that it was like a computer algorithmed voice, which I'm like, that's shitty.
It uses a bunch of samples of Mark Hamill's voice from the original movies.
I would be impressed with it the same way they're using old footage of these actors to do the younger version of them. I'm like, that's impressive to me.
Yeah.
You know, young Michael Douglas is referenced in Avengers Endgame when he has like the, you know, I'm like, that's impressive, but it was still Michael Douglas doing the voice.
Yeah. Even old Haley Atwell in Winter Soldier.
Right. I'm like, that's cool, but have another actor come in to actually do a voice instead, because I would be impressed if they told me we pulled all these sources from Mark Hamill reading a audiobook at that age and exactly at that age, and we have all this recording, and then we punch shit through a computer, and then it could give us whatever we wanted. It still sounded like shit. It didn't sound like an actor speaking.
Yeah.
So that would be my thing. Anyway, to answer your question, yes.
That was a long one.
It's a very layered, complicated answer, but yeah.
Yeah.
Lemon Eaterl asks, what comics are you really excited about right now, especially creators of color and or queer creators?
I'm
admittedly not reading anything currently.
Yeah.
There's one.
Agustin, are you reading any comics right now?
I'm dying to jump into. Let me think of the name. Let me bring.
I just got something. I was at San Diego Comic Fest a few weeks ago, and I bought one book that I thought it looked really great. The art was great, and it happens to have an entire creative team of all queer creators, so writers and artists, and it's called Killer Queens. I haven't read it yet, but I have it at home, and it looked really great. But my thing with comics is it's sort of like we were saying with video games. Is it like I'll go dry spells and then I'll just like get into it.
Yeah, for sure.
And right now, maybe because Celebration's coming up, I'm kind of into Star Wars stuff.
Right.
I mean, I was just at Disneyland. I did Galaxy's Edge for the first time. I read the
Rise of the
Galaxy's
Resistance.
Edge. I read the Galaxy's Edge comic.
Oh, I heard all about this.
Yes. Anyway. So I go through phases.
I told him the stories.
You know, I'm not like a comic book reader who goes every Wednesday and has a pull list and is constantly trying.
I think for like all the things that like we're doing, it's really hard to try to fit that in. And I'm not trying to make excuses, but eventually get to a point where I'm like, cool, I want to read this comic book or this run of
and
comics.
I'll commit to it, and then when I'm done, then I'll move to some other series or whatever.
Exactly.
Yeah. But check out Killer Queens. It looks cool.
Where is it? It better be on here because I saw it at the Lucha shop. By the way, I saw this. So I saw this comic book about a female Latina luchadora. And it was at Republic of Lucha, and I'm trying to find the name of it. That's the one, Adam. If you're throwing up a graphic, that's the one you should throw up there. This one looks very interesting.
Check out this whole line because I got Caden Phoenix's. I saw her at, I think it was WonderCon a few months ago. And I saw her whole line, and she's like, this one hasn't come out yet, but these ones have, and eventually they'll all team up to be on one team, and they're all Latina superheroes. And I was like, that's so cool. So I got the first one. But check the rest of them out. So shout out to Caden Phoenix.
Boom. Following you on Instagram.
The Social Meds.
Thank you.
Well, now I have something to read.
Yeah,
so
that's the one.
And
read Invincible. Read Invincible.
Dude, and I have the Baile Folklorico one, and I'll trade you because you have the Santa one.
I'm going to have the Santa one, yeah.
That's cool.
It's a great name. Yeah. I saw the name. I was like, oh, that's a really smart name.
Yeah.
And then I was like, that's really cool art. But I didn't pick it up because I was buying you Ding Dong shirts.
For Christmas?
Those
I love
Christmas
shirts. This is a John Carter of Mars shirt, homies.
This is a Heroes Reforged 1 of 1.
By the way, we still need to make CzechXicans merch.
Yeah.
And CzechXicans chanclas.
Mm-hmm.
That's
so we can beat each other with them?
Yes, exactly. Great. We need to find who can make CzechXicans chanclas for us.
CzechXicans Chunkslika.
Chunkslika. Okay, cool. Edward Castungway Foyce asks, hi guys, I was wondering if it's still worth it to buy Blu-rays since we have so much on streaming now. Side note, if you ever do a cooking video, a lot of us wants to see that. You should try to remake some plates from movies, comics, or TV shows. Example, sea prunes from Avatar: The Last Airbender.
That'd be great. Maybe
there were so many questions in here about you cooking.
So many questions.
To answer all that, yes. Maybe someday that'll happen. But should you buy Blu-rays?
Absolutely.
Yes.
Hector and I just ordered, it already had been a week, but we just ordered the 3D Blu-ray for Spider-Man No Way Home.
I don't have a 3D TV, so I didn't order it.
You're fine.
But
it's good thing you got one nearby.
If I did have a 3D TV on my own, then I would totally. When I buy yours off of you and you get a new one, then I'm going to start collecting.
I'm excited.
Yeah. Well, it feels good, right?
It does.
Well, it feels good because somebody who works at Marvel Studios responded to my tweet and was like, those who ask shall receive. And I was like, good. I'm glad that the constant pounding at the door of Marvel Studios of like, we like 3D. Please put out these movies in 3D.
Not only that, it's such a huge investment to turn these movies into 3D for them just to disappear.
Yeah, for it to just sit on a server at Disney.
I know.
Yes.
Put
That's such a shame.
Put that on streaming or let me order a $50 Blu-ray disc.
That's how much it was with shipping.
My money.
Yeah.
You can have my money. I just want to give you my money.
Yeah, I want to give you my dollar bills. My dollar bills.
Here's my thing, and I used to be, and you guys saw my change. I used to be streaming only, whatever's on streaming, whatever. But then in our conversations, it's just like, if to me, it's a point of showing support for things that I love.
Right.
It's collecting the things that I like to watch.
Yeah.
I don't always go back and rewatch them.
Because you bought like Daft Punk albums on CD, didn't you? Or no?
Look at all these vinyls.
Yeah, vinyls.
I don't have a vinyl player.
Yeah.
I want to support my favorite artist.
Yeah.
So like I want to show my appreciation for the fandom, for the music, for everything.
Yep.
So if you love something, support it with your dollar bills, because that's the only way that they are going to know that you support them. Like, don't pirate movies. Like that's, I mean, maybe if you want to watch it, maybe if you're dead broke.
Yeah.
You know, we still don't condone illegal activities, I have to say.
Yeah.
But if you have the means, if you really absolutely love something, go and collect it. Like, go have your own little collection. It doesn't have to be as extensive as your collection or your collection.
Not at all.
Blu-rays,
Not at all.
I have like maybe 16
Look,
Blu-rays.
They're nice.
Yeah, like if you are a massive fan of the MCU and that's like the only thing you want to collect, that's 25 movies.
Collect it.
You have a few movies you can get every year. You don't have to get them all at once. You can get them as they come out or whatever. But I still invest in physical media because I think the quality is better than streaming. Yeah. And the physical media comes with a digital copy. So if I want to take it on the road, I still have that option no matter what. But when I'm at home, I can put a disc into my PS4, my Xbox One if I want to watch a 4K Blu-ray. And it's great. It's really great. And the quality is really, really nice.
This is why I collect 3D Blu-rays. I don't know if he'll ever see this, but not 3D Blu-rays, but this is my little Gendy collection.
Oh, beauty.
Clone Wars,
Primal.
Primal.
Excellent.
And
we all own that. That's amazing.
Yeah, definitely. I had to go and on eBay and find this. But Primal, like, do you own this? Does anybody own this?
I do.
Probably not, but of course you do.
I'm
not talking to you guys.
Oh, right, sorry.
Because I know you own it, but watch Primal.
Yeah.
And this is how you support Gendy and let him know what we really love to watch from him.
Yeah.
Like, these are just the types of things that, like, it's support. It's like the way I show how all these people who we love, the things that
Side note, completely unrelated to Blu-rays, but I was reminded yesterday that Gendy was a concept storyboard artist on Iron Man 2.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I totally forgot about that. Yeah. Shelby Fielding asks, "Hi guys, thank you so much for your advice last week. I really appreciate your words and time given to those still looking for a home in this new nerdy utopia. Speaking of that, in a time when we are looking for more diverse and authentic representation, and since Marvel and DC are not foaming over with queer characters, is it better for studios to begin to repaint characters we know or try to elevate those we don't? If it's the latter, I worry there will not be nearly enough trans representation, and that bi representation will focus primarily on heteronormative relationships such as Loki and Star-Lord."
So like Loki is bisexual. We saw the TV show, there was one reference to that, but then it ended up still being Loki and Sylvie kind of, you know, and I don't know if in the Guardians movies with Chris Pratt's character that Star-Lord is bisexual, but it's like it's been about Star-Lord and Gamora. I think in the comics he might be. Anyway, excellent question. I mean, what's your guys' take on it?
So I feel, even though it's not to the extent of LGBTQ relations or anything like that, to a more broad extent, Latino representation in the MCU has been seriously lacking.
Yeah.
But all the other representation has been kicking ass. Black Panther came out and rocked it. Shang-Chi came out and rocked it.
Yeah.
We have America Chavez with 2 moms.
Yeah.
That kind of thing, I think we have to remind ourselves that even though it might not be your voice that's being raised at any particular point, people who are being represented who actually have not been represented before, them having a voice is just as important, because it's a shitty saying, but the rising tide raises all ships, right? It's just slowly, step by step going, and you know
it disproves a lot of the false narratives that diverse movies with diverse characters don't do well at the box office.
Exactly, and also diverse stories don't do well at the box office. Like, that's bullshit. That's absolute bullshit. And if it's an interesting story, it's going to be interesting.
Yeah.
But I feel like even though it's not our particular time to shine right now, let's praise everybody else who is getting their moment in the sun.
I mean, how stoked were we when we got an Egyptian superhero.
Absolutely.
Layla Al-Fawli.
Incredible.
And the
amazing.
And the whole time,
Scarlet Scarab. Incredible.
And the whole time we were like really stoked on the fact that it's Oscar Isaac.
Isaac.
You know, playing the lead character. But it's like that's a great opportunity to. Now here's the thing: is going forward, when are we going to see Layla next?
Right.
It's like, hey, great job, like
great intro,
doing a show where we get an introduction of her, and maybe Moon Knight's already established,
right,
and we flash back to the origin, and now Oscar is Moon Knight, and now we have Layla as the Scarlet Scarab. When are we going to see them next? That's how we kind of keep this thing going.
Yes, exactly.
To the point of the question of what should we do, either or. I think you can do both.
I agree.
I think you can very easily reimagine iconic characters and be like, oh, this character was before they were white, or they were straight, or they were male. What if they're not that?
Yeah.
Does it change the character? What can we add to the character?
Right.
Does it, like, what does this new perspective give to the story? And so many, especially in superheroes and comic books, you can do it. But I also think that creating new original characters is important.
Well.
And to bring in those, I mean, America is one of those. America Chavez is a character who, she is a riff on the original Miss America, who's like a World War II era character.
Right.
Superpowered woman character, but I mean, America Chavez is her own thing,
it's own thing,
and she happens to have two moms, and also America herself is gay, and it's like I am so happy to see Xochitl Gomez play this character, and going forward, I'd love to be able to really showcase who this character is and all those different facets in the same way that Peter and MJ, Tom Holland and Zendaya have been like. They're so damn lovable, charming. You can have, especially young characters, gay characters in relationships in these movies and love each other and feel that romance and feel that young love where it's all awkward and shit. Like that needs to happen. New original characters are great. Look at older characters and how we can change them. Yeah. And it's about what can we do to be as inclusive as we can, because it's just money being left on the table if you're not being inclusive. Like everybody's invited to this party.
Look at Fast Five. My God.
And it's also about just reflecting the times that we live in.
Yeah.
If we continue to keep going back to superheroes that were created in the 40s and 60s, that we're just making Mad Men. It's just the TV show Mad Men over and over and over. Like there's, we can update that stuff while also keeping the important diverse characters. Like Jon Stewart's finally going to headline his own animated movie.
Right.
That's barely happening now. And it's like, damn, dude, Jon Stewart should have been the head of a live action movie 15 years ago.
Yeah.
Wasn't that, are we
not
slipping?
Jon Stewart from The Daily Show. I mean, Jon Stewart, like the African-American character, the black character.
Are we slipping back into episode 6? Are we?
We talked about this
content vertical.
Content vertical.
Representation.
No.
Oh, God.
No. Not. Look at Hector. He's all deflated now. No.
Content synergistic vertical.
Because we talked about DC so much last week. No, not. But
Fortune 500.
Not to take away from your point, Hector, but yes, you're right. Jon Stewart should have had his own movie franchise. He should have had the Lord of the Rings style, epic movie.
Yes.
Raise your chair up.
Oh,
I don't know about here.
I like Green Lantern.
Hold on.
I don't know if my chair goes any lower than that.
Oh, that's all it goes.
It's pretty good.
So I'm going to sit right here. No, but to get to your point, Hector, yes, you're right. I think it has to be done appropriately, because not every character is suited to have such drastic changes.
Yeah.
But I think that there should be an effort to at least consider it.
Yeah.
At least say, hey,
and
what can we do with this character that's new and fresh? And yeah.
And if you don't do it, in the case of like the Batman, what could you have done to maybe lean into it a little bit more?
Right, exactly. Or
with his lineage and his family.
Something, or just like, it doesn't have to be overt and in your face where these traits are what defines his character. Just like, one thing about us in our personal lives doesn't define who we are. We're an amalgamation of everything that we do.
Yeah.
Right. We're a patchwork of everything. So I think, I do appreciate the effort that has been being put out by the industry. It's seen, it's appreciated. Could it be much better? Yeah. 1,000% it could be much better.
You know what else is crazy? I think there's only one trans superhero in live action media, and it's Dreamer from Supergirl. I think.
Yeah.
Correct me if I'm wrong, Internet, if I'm forgetting any, but like, how great would that be if there was like a real visible trans superhero, like hero?
And now Dreamer
character.
is being added to DC Comics.
Oh,
which is cool.
absolutely. Well, I mean that the sort of newer version.
The newer version,
of Dreamer,
yeah,
because it's an old 70s, I think, a Jack Kirby thing. But yeah, man, that would be great to have in the MCU and to, just.
I think everybody needs those heroes to look up to, and that's really like.
Yep.
I never had a Latino superhero to look up to back in the day, which is why I attached myself to Wolverine because he was the most Mexican-looking dude anywhere, really.
True.
And so that's when Robbie
Raphael.
Raphael. I like Leonardo.
Okay.
Raphael was also like he was the rough and tumble kind of guy, but also Robbie Reyes, which is why I love Robbie Reyes so much because he represents the things that I love about LA, right? The whole culture and everything. So it's those types of things that we still have a long way to go on. The answers are not clear at this point, but the effort, I think, is the important thing to be doing.
Yeah, let's keep going.
I'm still waiting for our beer drinking, taco eating, original Czechicican superhero in the MCU.
I don't know how you're handling it, Adam, because will we ever see a Czech hero?
I think so.
No.
What would be would a definitive Czech hero? What would be the Czech hero's power set?
Oh, he would drown people to death with beer.
You know what?
And his battering would be dumplings.
Here's the
potato salad.
Yeah.
You're tired now. You're tired.
Dumpling. You get dumpling. You get dumpling. You get dumpling.
Fried cheese. Fried cheese.
Oh, man, I'm sleepy.
Potato salad.
I think that
so he would have food powers.
Oh, hell yeah.
I think the in is in the MCU that this character's origin would be like, I witnessed the night monkey.
Yeah.
In Prague.
In
Prague.
Yeah.
In this beautiful city.
Me.
And now I
am the night monkey.
Saved my restaurant.
Yes. I'm the new night monkey. We need this hero.
I cook at night.
And then he meets Spider-Man, and Spider-Man's like, that was me, right? And he'll be like, what? No.
So I am the
Now it sounds like he's going to become a supervillain.
No. Superhero.
Oh, God.
Superhero.
Okay. What would this Czech hero's daily occupation be?
YouTuber. I think it's just going to be Adam.
Yeah, that's actually a really good question. Like, what would I don't know?
Player.
Yeah, he would have to probably be like a soccer or hockey player.
So he would be like Iceman then. Would he have
He'd be
ice
fucking
powers?
Casey Jones.
He would have ice power. Would he be super powered or would he be like Batman powered?
Vigilante style.
Probably more like Batman, I would say.
Okay.
Because I think if you gave him MCU power, like if you actually gave him superhero abilities, maybe there is something. I mean, there's a lot of like history in that whole part of Central Europe that like could come from some descendant or from some king or whatever. That could create a really conflicting.
So he could have like mystical powers, like magic powers. His family could have.
You got that Rick Steves book? Go read that shit. Come on, baby.
Hey, man, you got to stop giving away all these ideas. There's some people listening right now that are like, okay,
where's my Czech superhero?
Last thing, what is this Czech superhero's super name?
Super name?
Yeah.
If it's not, his like alter ego?
Yeah, his like what's his superhero name?
Oh, his superhero name.
Yeah.
Oh, that's Night Monkey would be pretty funny. If it would be Night Monkey, it sounds funny in Czech. It's Noční opice.
Noční opice.
Which if you were a superhero and you said that to someone, they would probably laugh at you and then kick you in the nuts and run.
Okay, what if he was trying to be serious?
Noční opice.
What if he was like, I am this superhero and I represent my culture, and this is what I'm very proud of.
Instead of Captain America, his character is going to be what?
Yeah. Damn, that's a really tough question. Yeah. Holy Christ.
Is this a stupid name? Check Mark. Is that dumb? And his real name is Mark.
My name is Mark.
That's pretty dumb.
And I'm Czech.
Because that only works in English. So
I feel like you would have to be. I feel like it would probably be based on like some king or something.
Interesting.
Like Bohemian something.
Okay.
I like that.
Okay.
Captain Bohemia.
There's a couple of king superhero characters.
King Bohemia.
So he would have a lineage of
the Submariner. There's King Black Bolt.
Yeah.
So this Czech superhero's superpowers probably come from a long.
There are going to be Czech people watching this who are like, "You are so stupid."
Oh, no.
Bro, do you think my Mexican people are proud of the shit I say?
No, they
hate us. Come on, man. They fucking hate me.
They hate us.
They're like, you drink beer, but you are very dumb.
Yeah, this could be like, in Marvel Comics especially, Captain Britain has a lot of what you're describing. Captain Britain, Brian Braddock, comes from like a long line,
of
or like the Black Knight.
Yeah.
Right, we saw at the end of Eternals, like this sword, he inherited this sword.
But it makes sense because Prague is such an ancient city. There's castles and there's maybe he could be a vampire, like a good vampire. He lived in the Prague castle,
like Morbius.
So, if he had a tagline, it would definitely be this. Zbohem, and then he would kill someone.
Which stands for?
With God.
That's cool as hell.
So he would be some kind of a paladin then.
Probably.
Like holy powers.
Because again, I mean, we went to Prague.
Shield.
Like you saw, the historical stuff with all that.
Yes.
Yeah. There's like, I think there's like a really rich, deep lore.
What would be great, again, similar to Black Knight, similar to probably these comics here that
Saint Wenceslav.
Imagine a character who's like of a young generation, like today.
Yeah, and for sure.
And they're modern.
They find out all this stuff about their lineage.
They're like, I have all this pressure and weight to do this, and this is so cool, and this is some sort of ability or like calling. But I'm also trying to live in 2022.
Right. Yeah. You inherited the family brewery, but your great grandfather was.
I have to fly to Prague.
Yeah.
I've never been there. Boom.
Yeah,
that's the character right there.
God damn it! I'm gonna go write this comic book.
We just sparked all kinds of ideas.
It's true though. When we came back from Prague and we were going through like the entire city and going to see the cathedral and all that stuff, and you were reading all the facts and info.
Yeah,
I was totally like, we were walking through that castle, and I was just like, there's so much great material you could mine out of this.
I mean, imagine just all the people who have walked through that castle.
Yeah.
And imagine if in a movie or a story, the mentor is not Obi-Wan Kenobi, but it's Rick Steves. Who's telling this person about the history of Europe.
Did you know Rick Steves has a TV show?
Yeah, dude.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
I heard about it.
He's awesome.
I've never seen it, but
he's awesome.
Yeah, he's adorable.
And he's
so cool.
super on board with legalizing marijuana. That dude is the coolest.
He is legit.
Shout out to Rick Steves.
Adam, I think our homework for the next episode is you fleshing out this Czech character.
Yeah.
I should.
Augustine and I will draw it.
Yeah, we'll
That'd be
draw
fun.
it, and we'll each have our ideas of what it is.
Yeah.
But you just need to give us like a power set and a name.
Yeah.
And then we'll see what we can come up with.
Flesh out the backstory.
Yeah.
I like it.
Zbohem. With God.
How do you say it again?
Zbohem.
Zbohem.
Yeah.
Zbohem.
That'd be kind of badass.
Nazdravi.
Oh, that would actually matter.
He comes in, he's like,
clocks you with a freaking liter glass.
He comes in with the Nazdravi, motherfucker.
Yeah.
Bam, knocks fools out. Bam, knocks fools out.
Oh, with a stein.
Zbohem.
Nazdravi.
And the bad guy's like, moment prosim. And he goes, Nazdravi.
If they're not too bad, it's Nazdravi. If they're really bad pieces of shit, it's Bohem. Because he's killing them.
Zbohem.
Oh my God.
Moment prosim. Moment prosim.
We've peaked. Let's close it out, y'all. This was a good episode.
Well, I guess I have a lot of homework to do, but thank you all so much for watching. Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. Some of the answers to these questions from you as well. What are some comic books that you would recommend to people, or give us a superhero that you'd like to come up with? That could be really fun. Let us know in the comments below. Check out all of our videos, subscribe, and we will catch you guys in the next episode. Bye.
Zbohem.